Welcome to episode 3 of the Redmont Rangers Road to Glory career mode. We are live streaming this series for the first time. If you are brand new to the series, we have played 2 episodes already. Those were regular videos that you can find on the channel. However, we are transitioning to a live stream series. So we are going to be covering 2 months in today's episode. And the plan for these live streams is to cover 2 to 3 months per live stream. We'll be live streaming once per week, every Friday at 7 p.m. And I'm going to be compiling each of those live streams into one long yet condensed video at the end of each month, which will cover a full season. And that will be posted to the channel for those who can't make it to the live streams. However, today we will be covering November and December. So we will make it up to the January transfer window today. We definitely won't be playing all the games because we have several to get to. We also have an MK Dons fixture to get to. Actually, that wasn't there moments ago, but that has now appeared. So we will face MK Dons twice in today's live stream. But we will play 5 or 6 games. I fancy this Blackpool fixture in the BSM Trophy. MK Dons must be an early round of the FA Cup, and it is. So potentially we'll play that game as well. And one of our 3 League 2 fixtures, Port Vale, Crewe Alexandra and Walsall. We also face Wimbledon, Morecambe, Tranmere, MK Dons again, Newport and Colchester, all in League 2 in the month of December. So we'll pick 2 or 3 of those games to play as well. The rest will be quick simmed. We are in good shape, both on the pitch and off the pitch. We are currently without Ethan Saint. He is out for another 8 weeks with a broken toe injury. However, other than that, we are fully fit. However, we are, in addition, we are also doing well in terms of the league, in terms of our cup competitions. We are top of the table. Currently tied for top with Barrow and with Fleetwood, but top of the table nonetheless. That plus 14 goal difference is the difference between us and Barrow. We are, of course, still in the BSM Trophy, still in the FA Cup. We are looking good both on and off the pitch. So I think we will jump straight into a game against Port Vale with our fully fit starting 11. We will be using the regular tactics, but we will be going with Callum Broad, Jordan Hobbs. We've got Hutchinson, Stokes, Burns. We've got Kabore and Rose in the midfield with Kai Fry, Namdi El Fakiri either side. We've got Dave Williamson, the star striker, up front. He had a bit of a quiet episode 3. Also, this was something I failed to mention as well. I recorded episode 3 as a regular video, but we lost it due to audio issues, and it was a banger of an episode, so it's really unfortunate that we did lose it. I'll show you the results from that episode, however. Williamson had a quiet one. He didn't really get on the score sheet, but we did beat our local-ish rivals, Harrogate Town. We don't really have a local rival in the lower leagues. Middlesbrough are going to be our primary rival. However, Harrogate Town are the closest thing we've got to a kind of lower league rival. We got draws against Bromley, against Grimsby. We lost to Salford in the BSM Cup. So actually, this game against Blackpool in November is actually a big one because we lost our first BSM fixture against Salford. We beat a couple of teams in League 2, though. So we were on... It was a decent month, all in all. Charles Mann scored a couple of absolute screamers, which is why I'm so disappointed that the episode is not going to see the light of day, because he scored 2 unbelievable goals. Goals of the series so far, for sure. So he is currently on 3 goals. All 3 of his goals have been absolute worldies. 3 goals in 8 games. Charles Mann, the unlikely star of the series so far. But Dave Williamson, a quiet one, but he is still currently on 5 goals, 2 assists. 5 and 4 for Sean Rose. 9 goal contributions in just 14 games. 4 goals, 2 assists for Ethan Saint. There's Charles Mann. And we've got a couple of other players popping up with goals and a handful of assists as well. So let's jump straight into the Port Vale game. I think we should play this one as well as the Blackpool game after it. We certainly don't want a clash of kits quite that significant, so we can probably just play in our home kit for today. I do like the kits. For those that haven't seen them, this is the home kit, the traditional Redmont Rangers red and black stripes. We got the almost all white away, and then the purple on purple third kits. I really like these ones this year, but we'll go with the home kit. Taking on Port Vale. Should be a win, really. We're looking to hold on to top spot in League 2 for certain. Welcome to everyone who has just joined the stream. I'm kind of in an awkward position in terms of being able to see comments in the chat. I've got my monitor away to my right-hand side. I am trying to set up my phone so I can get messages in the chat up ahead of me, but it does keep going off screen. So apologies if I don't get to the chat quite as often as I can. But yeah, good to see so many people in here. Hey, Top Bins. Check out Top Bins content if you haven't already. Hackney Rangers, Creative Club Road to Glory career mode on the channel currently. So we probably don't need to see lineups for Port Vale, I don't think. I don't think I would know anyone in the Port Vale lineup, even if we did watch it. So we can skip that and get straight into the action. Jamie Burns with his watermelon-coloured hair at left back. And Hutchinson finds Kai Fry. Driving at the Port Vale back line, but just goes back to Hobbs. It's going to be difficult to transition back into Redmont Rangers football, I think. I've been playing a lot of Crystal Palace the last couple of days. And it's a much faster pace, at the very least. Passes are obviously much more accurate. Shots, crosses, and the like. So it's quite a transition when we get back down to League 2 and our 60 overall rated team in Redmont. But it's looking like we give Crystal Palace a run for their money the way that we've been playing in recent games. So good challenge, Jamie Burns. Sean Rose finds Kabore. We have switched. Look at the feet from Kabore. And he finds Williamson, who's going to shoot from range and us wide. Decent enough effort from the striker. Needs to look to get back to his old goal-scoring ways in today's episode. We got no game audio. We should have crowd audio. Do we have game audio or no? We should at the very least have crowd noise, if not commentary. And in fact, let me pause this a sec, so I think I might know why it is. Yes. Okay, now we should have crowd audio. Let me know if that's fixed the no game audio. Unfortunately, you are going to be stuck with me as commentator, but we should at least have noise from the crowd. So yeah, Dave Williamson, just not himself in episode 3. So, hoping to get him back on the score sheet today. Hopefully not just once, but several times. We have so many games to cover. We're playing, well, we are covering playing and simming double-digit games. So, not unreasonable that we could ask him to get towards double-digit goals. Maybe hitting the double digits is a bit much to ask. Sean Rose finds Stokes, who switches the play to Hobbs, and it's a good ball, to be fair. Kabore finds Rose, and Charlie Pearce, who is starting up front in place of Ethan Saint today. Charlie Pearce, a young striker, a lot to learn at the position, still very raw, but a lot of potential. That's a good run from Kai Fry, and Kabore just about finds him. Kabore once more. 2 Port Vale defenders in his way. Sean Rose is going to get the shot away with the left foot, parried away by the keeper. The routine save was pretty much straight at him, but there was a lot of power on the strike, and it looked like there was a bit of movement behind the effort as well. Yes, we've got crowd noise back. So, for those that are new to the series or new to the channel, whether you are watching live or later on YouTube, we try and keep things as realistic as possible on the channel, particularly gameplay-wise. So, in the games that we play today, it will be 10-minute halves. We play on legendary difficulty with my custom slider set, which is available on the channel, and we play on full manual controls as well. We try and keep things realistic off the field as well, so that means realistic transfers, realistic wages. However, that's going to be a struggle this year, because I'm not sure how many people have started a career either with a creator club or with a lower league team, but the wages are massively inflated. We've got a lot of players on £8,000, £10,000, £12,000 per week down in League 2, which is too high. So we'll try and sort that out over the course of the series and try and get those numbers down a little, at least while we are in League 1 and League 2. However, we will also be using Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool. That will remain. Although we are transitioning to more of a live stream series, we will still be using Core DNA. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, find Buzzco's YouTube channel, Buzzko. He has designed this comprehensive and interactive companion tool for FC 25, FC 24, and even for FIFA's past. I believe it goes back, as Port Vale squander their first real opportunity of the game, I believe it goes back as far as FIFA 22, but at the very least FIFA 23. It's essentially a mod for people who can't use a real mod, because mods, of course, that's awful from Jamie Burns. Thankfully, the referee bows us out. Mods, of course, you can only use on PC. If you play on console, you won't have access to mods, but you will have access to Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool, because it's designed in Google Sheets. But as I said, it is fully interactive and kind of fully coded behind the scenes. And it is an incredible companion to your career mode series, particularly if you are looking for realism and immersion. So we will be checking in on the companion tool from time to time. I have had to download a new sheet, so I have not yet input the squad again for Redmont Rangers, so we'll have to do that at some point. That won't be today, though. Dave Williamson. Can't find it. Guy Fry. Can't quite find him. Buzzco getting some love in the comments, as he rightly should. Guy Fry finds Jordan Hobbs. And Sean Rose taken up a slightly different role today. This was something actually that will be missed because of the absence of the episode 3 that we lost. But Kabore and Sean Rose have actually switched roles in midfield. So we have a deep line playmaker at left centre midfield, and we have a box-to-box player at right centre midfield. Sean Rose has... We've moved Sean Rose into the deep line playmaker role, because he's far more suited to that. Kabore far more suited to the box-to-box role. So we should see Sean Rose taking up the mantle of the more kind of creative fulcrum in midfield. Kabore doing the hard yards, essentially. That's a good challenge from Stokes. Cagey game so far, though. Chances few and far between. Jamie Burns presenting Port Vale with an opportunity to create a chance here. But we do well to fall back into formation and put a stop to that relatively quickly. It's a nice ball in behind, though, towards Curtis, who lifts it into the box, and Callum Broad punches clear. Callum Broad has been excellent. Another And Stokes has been completely blocked off there. That's got to be a foul. That's got to be a foul. This isn't basketball. You can't just set a screen for the centre-back. But Port Vale have the lead. We've kind of gone to sleep there. We've squandered possession multiple times in our own defensive third. And just as I was about to talk up Callum Broad, League 2 Player of the Week, he concedes a goal. Not his fault by any means. We've really let our goalkeeper down there. But I want to jump into the instant replay because that is an absolutely outrageous pick set by the companion striker as Brandon Stokes. Are we going to be able to get on Brandon Stokes? We should be able to at some point. Here we go. Brandon Stokes coming across, and he's just completely wiped out by the number 9. Just allowing the Port Vale striker to walk in and tap it home. Absolutely outrageous how that isn't a foul. However, not the start to the episode that we were looking for. And we're going to have to really start playing our football if we're going to get back into this one. Nnamdi El Fakiri with the run in behind. Found well by Sean Rose. And I don't hate just lofting it up into the box where Kai Fry can take it down, but it's a poor touch. See, that's the kind of thing I was talking about. Crystal Palace career mode, if that was Luca Koleosho, that would have been down on the chest. And we would have got a shot away there. But it's a poor touch from Kai Fry. It's a poor pass from Port Vale as well, though. Jamie Burns drives, loses possession. Not had a good start to the game as Jamie Burns. Jordan Hobbs pressing high. Dave Williamson doing the same. Kai Fry just standing around. Oh, and that's another really good ball in behind. And we are in trouble. Hutchinson does really well to recover. And Kai Fry can come away on the right-hand side. Port Vale with men back to defend. So we will just have to retain possession. Rue Kabore and Sean Rose. Port Vale setting up very narrow. Just allowing us space down the flanks, but completely taking away the central areas. And it's working to a high level so far. We've really struggled to break them down. And Jordan Hobbs now caught out of position, but thankfully the captain, Corey Hutchinson, does well to cover once more. Jamie Burns comes across. Port Vale dominating the game now since taking the lead. And with only 5 minutes to go until half-time, it looks like we're going to go into the break behind. Not something I expected, to be honest. This really should be a comfortable win based on current form. Good challenge, Corey Hutchinson. Sends Sean Rose away. Takes it round 1. Nnamdi El Fakiri makes the run up ahead of him. Sean Rose will just continue, though. And again, strike from range. And it's a really good effort, to be fair. And Dave Williamson is getting booked for something. For what, I have no idea. However, promising signs. Or more promising anyway. Promising, I think maybe is a bit of a stretch. Burns can't win the header. Charlie Pierce does collect, though. Brushes off his man, and it's another free kick. Again, how, I'm not sure. Port Vale free kick. Hennigan to take. Lofts it up towards the number 9, who I'm sure can claim an assist for the goal earlier. That's an incredible challenge from Sean Rose. And again, space for Kai Fry to drive at the Port Vale back line. What a challenge, though. Stuck out a leg. Just about managed to steal the ball away. And 2 minutes of added time have almost elapsed. So we are going to be going into the halftime break with a 1-goal deficit. And I don't think changes are necessary at halftime. Let me know what you think in the chat, though. We have Charles Mann on the bench, who scored 2 incredible goals in the previous episode and an incredible goal in the episode before that. We have Blake Bird on the bench. We have Teddy Hooper. We don't have a substitute striker on the bench. Not a true striker. Because Charlie Pierce is currently starting. Ethan Saint is currently injured. And our only other striker is Lewis. And he's awful. I think he's a 52 overall. So I think probably no changes. And beyond that, so Webb is somebody that we didn't really mention in either of the opening 2 episodes. However, he's going to be a decent player as well. 60 overall at just 18 years of age. So we might try and get him involved in the next couple of episodes. Port Vale, potentially one of the best teams in League 2 in real life. I must admit, I'm certainly not up on my League 2 football. They are not one of the best teams in this save currently. We are top of the league. It's Barrow, it's Fleetwood. We're currently playing the best. However, El Fakiri, if he could have won that. However, if you're telling me Port Vale are a good team in real life, potentially that means they have a high overall in the game, and it's not so bad that we should be a goal down. Hobbs is beaten. Slipped into the path of the Port Vale number 10, and it's a perfect ball. What a goal. Really good goal, to be fair. There's not too much we can do about that one. The first goal entirely preventable. The second one not so much. And we find ourselves 2-0 down away from home. That's a goal and an assist, is it not, for the number 10? Put it on an absolute plate for the Port Vale midfielder. Oh, it's the Port Vale striker. It's the number 9. It's a goal and an assist each. Number 9 he's done us twice. He's completely wiped out Brandon Stokes for the first goal. And he's nodded it in from 6 yards out for the second. Jamie Burns skips past the lunging challenge, lobs it into the box where Kabore can't win it. Neither... Oh, Charlie Pierce actually can. Did really well to get up and win that. Oh, and the Port Vale man had us. He'd beaten us, but he turned back on himself. For some reason, fortunate for us, because we've been absolutely done. All ends up there. Good interception by Brandon Stokes. Sean Rose into the feet of Kai Fry. Needs Jordan Hobbs in support and gets him. It's a good run from Kai Fry too. And we need men in the box. Cross is blocked. Sean Rose in some good space on the edge of the box. We do manage to find him. Namdi El Fakiri on the far side. Finds Kai Fry. Lofts it in towards the back post. Sean Rose can't win the header. Neither can Adamola Kabore. That's a better spell. Jamie Burns forcing Port Vale backwards. Kabore's going to have to come across and win this, and he does exactly that. What a challenge. Namdi El Fakiri can launch the counter-attack with Sean Rose. Tries to lob it into the path of Dave Williamson, but it's a poor ball in the end. And it did look as though Sean Rose has picked up a knock. Unfortunately, we will see if he can run it off. However, he may have to make way at some point. Likely for probably a Teddy Hooper. We'll give him 5 or 10 minutes though, because he is an excellent player. An important player in our midfield. So if he can run this off, that would be ideal. And the referee blows his whistle again. VA fixed the glitch where creative players just disappear after the first season. I certainly hope so, because our team is made up almost entirely of creative players. So if they all disappear after the first season, this isn't going to be a particularly long run series. I must admit, I wasn't aware of that particular bug. There are so many that it's kind of hard to keep track. It's a great run from El Fakiri, and what a ball that is from Kai Fry. And we can't quite find Dave Williamson. Kabore, though, collects, and it's a poor pass. Really poor pass. So, yeah, most of our players are created players, because the auto-generated players this year just look absolutely monstrous. And I could not stare at them for however many series they are in the team. We are planning to go 8 to 10 seasons in the series. El Fakiri, what a run. Still going. Still going. Still going. Squares it for Williamson, who grabs one back. What a run from Nnamdi El Fakiri. One of the easiest goals that Dave Williamson will ever score. And that's all thanks to the mazy, relentless, unstoppable run of Nnamdi El Fakiri. Skipped past one, skipped past another, and thought, I've beaten two, why not try a third? Why not try a fourth? And Williamson taps it in from 6 yards. And I think we'll make a change or two here, because we want to take advantage of this momentum and try and grab an equaliser. So I think Sean Rose is going to have to make way. Let's actually bring on Webb. Let's get a good look at, I think his name is Charlie Webb. And let's bring Blake Bird on for Kai Fry on the right-hand side. Some fresh legs, some new ideas potentially. And I think Charlie Mann is going to be on his way shortly as well. However, I would bring him on the left-hand side. All three of his goals that he scored so far have been wonder goals, and they've all been from cutting in from the left-hand side and curling it into the far corner with his right foot. So I do want to give El Fakiri another 5 or 10 minutes at the very least. But I think we'll be seeing Charles Mann before too long. Blake Bird finds Kabore. He finds Pierce. And here's Webb. Into the path of Kabore. And Blake Bird. And let's just put it into the box. When Dave Williamson is in there, it's kind of rude not to. It's as high percentage a play as any. When Dave Williamson is in the box, especially if there is only one defender in the vicinity, just put it in. Just put it in the mixer and see if he can climb and win the header, because chances are he can. And we saw that. We saw that there. What team do I support? It's kind of an awkward one. Because I grew up an Ipswich fan. Like a season ticket holder at Portman Road for several years. But I now live in Norwich. And don't really follow Ipswich anymore. So it's kind of an awkward one. I don't really say that I support Norwich. But I've lived in Norwich longer than I lived in Ipswich. And it's kind of hard to not follow the local team, just because that's what everybody talks about. And that's who everybody around you supports. So I kind of follow Norwich most closely, but I don't really support a club anymore. I support the national team, and then I just follow football in general, is the way that I would put it. Number 10 for Port Vale again. Who is this? Chislett. He's played well today. Both of the Port Vale strikers have come across Stokes. Thank God. Callum Broad is able to make the save, because we were in trouble there. Brandon Stokes was just basically refusing to come across. Blake Bird in behind. Cuts in on his left foot. Had a couple of options centrally there. Didn't really like any of them. And here's Webb. Charlie Pierce. Oh, we couldn't quite squeeze it through. And I think we'll make a couple changes next time the ball goes out of play. We are coming up on the final 10 minutes of the game. And I think we might step up into the attacking, I guess, mentality. Tactical focus, they're called. We do need to expand on our tactics. Because we have a good set of default tactics. But I haven't expanded on that with any additional custom tactics to switch to during games. So right now I'd quite like to switch to a slightly more aggressive set of tactics, but I don't have any available at the moment. So we'll just have to settle on that attacking tactical focus. Webb. It's a good run from El Fakiri. El Fakiri into the box. Squares it for Pierce. Can't quite find him. Burns wins the header, though. Can Kabore get there? No, he can't. And that's surely going to be a yellow card. Let's make a change or two. Hey, Lupo. How you doing? Lupo, another content creator you guys should check out if you haven't already. Lupo has a realistic career mode series going with Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg, Werder Bremen. I always get the two mixed up. I'm 99% sure it's Wolfsburg. With some cool storylines. So again, check out Lupo's channel if you haven't already. Williamson on a booking. We can't really take him off though. So he's just going to have to be fairly conservative over the course of the last... We've only got 5 minutes or so. Williamson, can we find him? No, we can't. Didn't get anywhere near enough on it with Blake Bird. Well, one from Jordan Hobbs, though. Blake Bird once more. Beats his man on the outside. And drives into the box. Gets to the byline. Tries to pull it back. Goes down. And it's a goal kick. We needed a corner. Or a penalty there. And we get neither. Zeeth. See you soon, hopefully. Williamson finds Bird. Hooper had made a good run and he stopped. It was the perfect run. Blake Bird into the box. Finds Pierce. Lays it off for Webb. Blocked by Port Vale. And Charlie Mann is offside. The equaliser's coming. He's just offside as well, isn't he? He's offside by a big toe. Bring back the idea of being level. We really... I don't understand what happened to that concept. If you were level with the last defender, you were onside. Good driving run from Blake Bird, but needed to switch that to Charlie Mann a little quicker there, a little sooner. Chislett again for Port Vale. Port Vale just kind of sat on their single goal advantage in this second half, really. As soon as they grabbed that second goal, they've really caused very little threat. And they are just trying to see out these last couple of minutes with possession, and currently there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Into stoppage time, 3 minutes. A minute and a half of which has already elapsed. That's well won from Jamie Burns, though, and we could get one final opportunity to grab an equaliser. Mann beats two. Can he put it in the back of the net? Yes, he can! Charles Mann is the unlikely hero once again. I mean, at this stage, he's just a likely hero. Again, you've missed those 2 goals in episode 3. But he was an unlikely hero in episode 2. He followed that up with an unbelievable performance in episode 3. And here in the episode 3 take 2, he's grabbed another late equaliser. Away from home, almost certainly to grab a point with the last kick of the game. What a player. I need to check this guy's age. I think he's not that old. A handful of our midfielders, like Blake Bird, like Teddy Hooper, are a little on the old side. in their early 30s. I think Charles Mann is slightly younger, though. So he could be a fixture of the Redmont side for years to come, potentially. Let's check out the match facts. I feel like we edged that. There was only 13 shots total in the game. It feels like we had more than that. Edged Port Vale in possession, a little more direct than they were. And we only had 7 shots total. Feels like we had far more. Ah, Fabiano. What language do you speak? From Brazil. I'm sorry that I'm sorry that you can't understand what I'm saying. I wish I could speak Brazilian so that you could. But it's good to have you on the stream regardless. But a big point for Port Vale. We got Lamsey time.
Thanks.
That's what we needed it in that game, to be fair. And we have Blackpool in 2 days. I'm kind of starting to think that we should have rotated the 11 slightly for Port Vale. Because... And Sean Rose did pick up an injury. Only a 5-day injury. Thankfully. We finally settled on some injury sliders that actually work. These are the sliders from version 4 of my realistic slider set. If you haven't seen it already, we are using 88 injury frequency and 35 injury severity. And for the first time in 2 full game cycles, these seem to be some values that actually give you frequent injuries, but a variety of injuries as well. We've seen a broken toe from Ethan Saint, but we've seen just a 5-day injury for Sean Rose there. I've seen some full week injuries. I've actually seen just a variety of 5-day injuries as well. It's not always a bruised shoulder. It can be... There's a handful of injuries that are 5 days, but you get a range of different 5-day injuries. But I think we're really going to be struggling against Blackpool in terms of our starting 11. Ethan Saint's still not back. He's going to be out for probably the duration of this episode. And I think we'll probably get him back in January. January, I think, is going to be a quiet one in terms of transfers. However, of course, feel free to suggest players you think we should be pursuing. Probably not in January, but probably more so in the future, next summer, whether we go up or whether we stay in League 2 this season. I'm hopeful that we can go up. I think we're going to get automatically promoted this year. And we're actually pretty fit. We're actually not looking in terrible shape. Let's start Hooper in centre midfield for this one, even though he does get the -1. El Fakiri can start. I think we'll start Elijah Hurst at left back, though. And other than that, I think we're fine in terms of a starting 11. And we can rotate through... Let's put Lewis on the bench. He is awful at just a 52, but he's the only true striker we've got on the bench. And we can rotate out some players at halftime into the second half, like Williamson, like Pearce, potentially like Hobbs, who are a little less than match fit. So Salford beat us 3-0 in the BSM Trophy last time out. And I'm a little unclear about exactly how the BSM Trophy works in-game, because my understanding is in real life there are 4 teams per group, whereas we only have 3. I think the 4th team per group in real life is an academy team from Championship and Premier League clubs, potentially. So I'm guessing those obviously aren't in the game. So that's where the missing team is from. But what, we just play Salford City and Blackpool? We just play 2 games rather than 3 in the group. So I'm assuming we need to win this game. And I'm assuming if we beat Blackpool, then we will progress. However, like I said, I'm not entirely sure, so we'll have to see. But let's play the Blackpool game, and then I think we will have to get to quick simming. Let's quick sim Crew. Let's quick sim Walsall. And then we'll play MK Dons in the FA Cup as well. We're in a comfortable position in League 2, and we've got plenty of League 2 games coming up in December, so we can afford to quick sim a couple here in November. So let's jump into the second game of the episode against Blackpool at Redmont Arena this time. That is a pretty cool looking kit that Blackpool have got. We're not going to see it though, because I think it makes more sense for them to run out in the orange. Well, let's head to Redmont Arena for the first time in the episode. We're not going to have any music here, but I do like this cutscene, so we'll watch it. Do I try to play in a relay manner? Does that mean realistic? In a realistic manner? Like not making a pass to a certain player because there's no chance of doing so in a real match? I do, really. Yeah. So I do try and play in a realistic way. As well as making the gameplay realistic, I do myself try and play in a realistic way as well. I'm not always successful at doing that. Sometimes I will make a pass that you probably wouldn't necessarily see in real life. But that's where the manual passing comes in. And I try and kind of impose as many restrictions on the gameplay as possible so that I'm unable to make those passes. And it's certainly been noticed and pointed out in the comments several times that there are kind of forward runs on occasions that I don't pass the ball. But in those situations, I see the pass, I know the pass is there, and I know I could attempt to play it, but it's not a high percentage pass. It's a high level of difficulty, and there's a greater chance that the ball will be intercepted than it makes it to my player. So in those kind of situations, I will just retain possession, and that is something that you would see in real life. So I guess in that way, yeah, I do kind of try and replicate a realistic style of play rather than just trying to force balls every time that teams wouldn't force in real life. Teams are fairly conservative in possession in real life and will more often than not kind of prioritize keeping possession rather than playing a dangerous and interceptable through ball. However, that does tend to go out of the window when I'm desperately trying to get a result. So if I am chasing the game, I need an equaliser. Jordan Hobbs. Chip towards the back post to Nnamdi El Fakiri. I thought the referee was on our team there for a moment. Kabore. If we are chasing a game, then it's no holds barred. It's every man for himself. We're doing whatever we can to get the result. As Kabore's shot goes wide, but a positive start here in our second game of the episode at Redmont Arena in the BSM Trophy, where we are looking to progress to the next round. If we're going to win silverware early in the Road to Glory, it is going to be in the BSM Trophy. I'd like a cup run in the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, but I mean, a cup run for us at this stage is, you know, maybe the last 16 would be incredible. Maybe even the round just before that. Make the final 32, even that would be something of an achievement. Nnamdi El Fakiri, what a run again. He's hacked down, but he gets straight back up and carries on. Referee plays advantage. Kabore finds Hobbs, who again drives at the Blackpool back line, whips it into the box, where Dave Williamson unfortunately is not lying in wait. And it's dealt with well and hooked clear by Blackpool. Hutchinson gets up well. Hurst collects and drives at the Blackpool back line. El Fakiri outside of him. Could have done with lofting that over the back line, to be honest. We are playing a back four in this series as well. That's something else that has been pointed out in the comments. I love a back five. And I genuinely do. I think if I was a manager in real life, I think you would struggle to convince me to not play a 5-2-3. Fakiri in behind. Williamson just needs to hold his run. He doesn't. El Fakiri gets the shot away, and that's a good one, but it's parried away by the Blackpool keeper. El Fakiri just an absolute wizard down that left-hand side with the quick and nimble feet. Just cuts inside and skips over the challenge of the Blackpool defender. Corey Hutchinson has stepped up there and he's been caught out. Thompson for Blackpool. Hobbs for Company, who deals with it initially. Short throw from Blackpool, and Hobbs can't deal with it on this second attempt. And Blackpool could look to get into the box here, which was our downfall in the previous game against Port Vale. Fed in our area slightly better this time though. Kabore can't hook clear. Teddy Hooper thankfully can. El Fakiri into the path of Kabore. We will just retain possession. Kabore once more. I'm looking for Sean Rose, but he's not there obviously. Elijah Hurst, and that's a great run from Charlie Pearce, and Hurst finds him. And if we can find Dave Williamson, that would be ideal. Pearce goes himself, parried away by the Blackpool keeper and out for a Redmont corner. This is going to be a live stream series. However, condensed and edited videos are going to be posted to the channel as well. So the plan for the series is to live stream once per week. And over the course of 4 live streams in 1 month, we will cover the entire season. We'll be covering 2 to 3 months per live stream, each on a Friday at 7 p.m. I'll then be taking those 4 live streams and editing them down to a condensed, but still it will be a couple of hours long video. And I'll be posting that to the channel once a month for people who can't make the live streams. It's a good save, Callum Broad. I think it's going to be a foul and a free kick to Blackpool, and it is. So it's going to be kind of a hybrid live stream and video series. Blackpool setting up to take the free kick. Thankfully over. I never know whether to jump on the first attempt there, because if you jump for the second man and he runs over it, you don't have time then to jump again for the initial free kick. For the actual free kick, rather. However, if you don't jump for the first man and he takes the free kick, then you have no chance to block it. El Fakiri once more. Charlie Pearce on the edge of the box. Tries the skill move. This is why I don't try the skill moves more often than not. We need to get this player lock mechanic down as well. Who uses the player lock mechanic? I think you can click the left and right stick to control a player off the ball and make a run. That's something that I need to get down. I'm very much stuck in like FIFA 16 controls. I've not added anything to my Arsenal in so many years. Every year or two they add a new mechanic, and I think that sounds useful. I bet that will make a difference to the gameplay. That will be a useful extra tool to be able to use in game. And then I never learn how to use it. Wide from Blackpool, thankfully. Callum Broad was scrambling. Don't think he would have got there, but thankfully he didn't have to. Blackpool starting to work their way into the game now after a positive start from the home team. But Nnamdi El Fakiri continues to get in behind down the left-hand side. And he finds Teddy Hooper, who finds Kabore, who can't quite beat his man to get the shot away. Elijah Hurst, El Fakiri, Dave Williamson at the back post, headed clear from Blackpool. Kai Fry picks up the ball and finds Kabore. Hobbs. Fry once more. I don't really want to cross in from the right because Charlie Pierce is just not anywhere near the target that Williamson is. But we didn't really have too much of a choice there. Kabore cuts inside onto his left, and it's a big deflection. And if Williamson was slightly better positioned there, the ball would have fallen to him, and he could have tapped it into an empty net. The goalkeeper being sprawled out on his side as he dove to try and save that. Kabore's shot was a good one, especially considering it was with his weaker foot. But unfortunately, not enough to break the deadlock. New sliders are good. The game is way too easy with the last patch. I definitely agree. And yeah, definitely feel free to tweak the sliders. People's different play styles make such a big impact on how the sliders play. And I think that's something that people don't necessarily appreciate quite often enough. I play very direct, just kind of by nature, by default. My instinct is to play direct, is to just get the ball up the field as quickly as possible. However, other people might prefer to play a lot slower and use possession a lot more conservatively. And so that's going to have an impact on kind of the way that the game plays out. In addition to the sliders, Dave Williamson in behind, brings it down. Can he finish? Oh my God. No, he can't. That was not ideal. The less said about that, the better, I think. We're not going to blame that all on Williamson. I think that was more my doing, I think. And just as Williamson has that erratic shot, we get the graphic showing where the previous shots went, just to rub it in. Fairly poorly timed the appearance of that particular graphic. Elijah Hurst is beaten. Brandon Stokes is pacey though and gets across. Allows Elijah Hurst to recover his position, but Blackpool continue the attack regardless. Stokes sends the ball backwards, but the attack not yet over from Blackpool. And it is a shot from range that Brandon Stokes heads clear after Corey Hutchinson manages to block, and the seas have parted. And it's a big save from Callum Broad. I appreciate it. Marty 8. I appreciate the support. So Blackpool with a corner as the remaining minutes of the first half ebb away. Kai Fry steals the ball away, but can't find Pierce. Kai Fry has been probably one of the bigger disappointments in the series so far. And that's a great ball in behind, and Blackpool have worked an incredible opportunity and have stolen the lead just before half-time. Really nice goal. Great ball into the striker. Pulls Corey Hutchinson across, which just leaves a man completely unmarked, and he buries it. Nothing Callum Broad can do about that one, but Brandon Stokes steps up to make the challenge. Doesn't win the ball. Forces Corey Hutchinson to come over, and it's just squared and buried. Really good goal from Blackpool, to be fair. Less than ideal timing for us, though, because we've already lost to Salford City, and we are now a goal down at home to Blackpool at half-time with a less than fully fit 11. Mind you, I think Williamson and Pierce probably have another 10 or 15 minutes left in them. But I don't think they have much more than that. It's probably going to have to be Kai Fry or more likely Nnamdi El Fakiri to move up into one of those striker positions in the second half. And we may see an appearance from Lewis at some point in the second period as well. I don't believe he's played for us yet this season. And again, he's just a 52 overall. He's only 18 years old. But I'm even not 100% certain we don't have a a better option than Lewis in the youth academy. Williamson finds the run of Kai Fry. Williamson once more into the Blackpool box. Can't bring the ball under control before the Blackpool defender gets back in position and nicks it. Stokes forces it backwards, but Blackpool in control of the game now on the scoreboard, so don't have to push too much for an additional goal in the second half. And like Port Vale, they can just try and ebb away the remaining period of the game. Oh, Elijah Hurst does well, and again the referee cannot be wearing black. I've tried to pass the ball straight to the referee there, and he just sidesteps out of the way, and thankfully it hits the stanchion. Really struggling now, as Blackpool can just kind of sit back and hit us on the counter-attack. They can kind of pick their shots a little more. Williamson in behind, and he's actually onside, and he puts it wide. I was looking over at the lines when I was certain his flag was going to go up. I thought Pearce had just taken too long to get the pass in. He kind of scooped it over the back line of Blackpool, and by the time Williamson had brought the shot down brought the ball down and managed to get the shot away, I was certain I was going to see the linesman's flag go up, and it just didn't. And Williamson drags the shot wide. We said he's had a quiet last few games, really. And he grabbed a goal against Port Vale, but didn't make a big impact on the game. This quiet spell for Williamson continues. That's a good ball into the path of Kai Fry. Williamson in the box. Can't quite turn it towards goal. It's a good covering challenge from the Blackpool defender. And again, I've tried to pass it to the referee. Namdi El Fakiri. Williamson at the back post. Can't quite win the header. And Teddy Hooper can't win the second ball either. And again, we're going to have to step up into our attacking tactical focus, because we are still chasing this game in the second half. I don't think a draw is enough either. In fact, I'm almost certain that it's not, because Blackpool drew. Wait, we must have a third game in the BSM Trophy, because Blackpool have a point. And we're in a group with, it's us, it's Salford, and it's Blackpool. We played Salford in the first round of fixtures. Blackpool played somebody and got a point. They obviously didn't play, unless they played Salford in the meantime. I guess there's a chance. Yeah, because Salford have played 2 games, actually. So, Pearce. So I think Salford must have beaten us and then played Blackpool in the meantime, and this is Blackpool's second game. So if they beat us, both Salford and Blackpool will be on 4 points. We'll be on 0. So we obviously won't be progressing. Jordan Hobbs can't win it. Thompson has been decent for Blackpool. Hutchinson forces them backwards. Morgan. Hooper trying to win possession. Evans finds Joseph the striker. Beasley the goal scorer. Blackpool just enjoying a good spell of possession. And it's a good save from Callum Broad. And he does manage to prevent the ball from going out for a corner. Another really nicely worked move there from Blackpool. But Callum Broad equal to the effort in which the move culminated. But that's a really poor touch from Kai Fry. And as I said moments ago, Kai Fry has been one of the disappointments of the series so far. Blocked from Hutchinson. Stokes can't find Hooper, but he does win the sliding challenge. Kai Fry with Dave Williamson in support. There's 4 Blackpool defenders back, though, and the ball is behind Williamson, and we are going to have to get Kai Fry off. He's been poor. He's been really poor. Pearce on his... not quite in his last legs exactly, but he's getting there. Hasn't stopped running, though. Beasley again, the goal scorer for Blackpool, looking to grab a second to secure the victory. Ademola Kabore puts a complete and definite stop to that, though. Kai Fry finds Dave Williamson. Couple of step overs. Cuts inside onto his left. Can't get the shot away. Tried to do it himself, Williamson. Potentially should have tried to find his strike partner, Charlie Pearce, there instead. And Blackpool hits on the counter-attack. It's exactly what we said their game plan should be in the final stages of the game. Just pick their shots. El Fakiri cuts inside. Charlie Pearce outside of him. And instead, it's locked on to Dave Williamson. It's not who the pass was for. Hooper. El Fakiri once more. Pearce is in the box, as is Williamson. Blocked and over. I thought it was going to loop into the back of the net there. Take care, man. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Let's make a change or two here as well, as Blackpool look to hold on to the lead. Let's bring on Lewis. Let's give him a chance. We'll bring on El Fakiri as well, and we will bring on Blake Bird. So a triple substitution, all attacking players. Let's and look at Lewis. This is why I created the players for the team, because, I mean, even Man looks a little silly. He looks reasonable, though. Lewis just looks ludicrous. Bird puts it into the mix, where Williamson wins it and is cleared off the line. Cleared off the line by the Blackpool player, who just nonchalantly takes it down. Just takes a touch on his own goal line. The absolute cojones. Elijah Hurst is another one who just... he just looks a little silly. It's got like the... like, not quite the Beatles hairstyle. But he has got a right old mop. Lewis finds Man. Lewis once more. Let's not write Lewis off just because he's a 52 overall. Let's give him a chance to prove himself. And he finds Kabor. Never mind. If that was his chance to prove himself, I think it's fair to say that he squandered it. 10 minutes to go, and we haven't had a clear-cut opportunity in the second half. Good challenge, Hutchinson. Let's step up into our attacking tactical focus for the last 10 minutes of the game. Blake Bird. Dave Williamson. Onside. He's going to have to fire across the keeper. Narrowly wide. Thought that was going to sneak in off the post. Jordan Rhodes for Blackpool comes on. He's an old Ipswich boy. So Jordan Rhodes was an academy product at Ipswich. Around the time I would have had a season ticket there. And obviously went on to play for a number of different clubs. Norwich City included? Was Jordan Rhodes one of the few players that played for Ipswich and Norwich? I feel like he had maybe a loan stint at Norwich at the very least. Lewis, there just aren't options. There just are no options. Hooper finds Hobbs. Kabore. Lewis. It's such a poor touch. The close control with Lewis is just unreal. Charles Mann. Dave Williamson in space. It's got to be. Wins the header, but there's almost no contact. The contact was just almost non-existent. from Williamson. I mean, he was under duress from the Blackpool defender, to be fair. And it's a shot from range, and it's really well saved by Callum Broad. I think he's been the player of the season so far, Callum Broad. And I think Dave Williamson is running him close. I mean, Sean Rose too has been very good. But Callum Broad has just been an absolute stalwart in the post. Just a brick wall at times. Delivered into the box, off the bar. So close to being 2-0 down, 2 minutes from the end of the game. But Brandon Stokes carries it clear. There's Lewis, and lays it into the path of Charles Mann. I'm looking at the referee, and I was so tempted to try and pass to him again. He was making a perfect run, the ref. We could use him at centre midfield, to be fair, if those are the kinds of runs he's going to make. Kabore. Is there a wonder goal in him to equalise? Straight at the keeper. Hooked clear by Blackpool. I mean, he just tried to get his head down and put his foot through it, Kabore, which he managed to do. You've just got to get it on target there and just ask a question of the goalkeeper. Lewis tries to find a run of Williamson, but doesn't manage it. And it looks like we're going to lose back-to-back games in the BSM Trophy. And I assume crash out of the competition. We will have to see. But I'm 99% sure we're done if we lose this game. To be fair, I'm 99% sure we're done if we draw. Because even then, Salford would be on 4 points, Blackpool would be on 2, we would be on 1. But I guess we will find out. Ronan Darcy from Crawley Town, a good addition. Attributes for an attacking midfielder. There's also useful as a wide playmaker. Good to see you, Top Bins. Have a good one. Look forward to the next video as well. So yeah, let's check out Ronan Darcy. A close game, to be fair. Blackpool edged possession. Fairly even in terms of shots on goal, though. And from the passes attempted, you could always tell I'm a fairly direct player. I always have fairly few passes attempted just because I get the ball forward so quickly. But yeah, let's check out Ronan Darcy. We can get him scouted at the very least. We do, as a result of the restrictions in Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool, only have access to 3 global transfer network scouts. And actually, we might have to recall one to be able to scout players from wherever. However, I'm assuming, well, Darcy plays for Crawley, so we're going to be able to scout him regardless. But we do only have access to 3 scouts. We can actually hire 2.5-star scouts. Again, this is all dictated by Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool. Based on the size of your club, the domestic, the international prestige, the DNA points and traits that you've selected. It's going to tell you how many scouts you can hire, what their star rating is, and all that kind of thing. So we can hire 2.5-star scouts. There haven't been any available. And actually, there are now 2 available here. So we could actually get rid of a couple of our scouts and hire Rory Lawler and Thomas Runarsson, because we are currently rocking with 1-star scouts, which obviously we will need to upgrade as soon as possible. If we fire them, though, we do have to pay the termination fee associated with that. However, we do have a scout in England, so let's add Ronan Darcy to his list of what do you call it? Of assignments. And we'll add him to the shortlist as well. 24 years old. I like that. We were also going to check on the age of Charles Mann as well, weren't we? So Charles Mann is... oh, he's 30. So Charles Mann, Teddy Hooper at 29, and then Blake Bird is the other one who's on the older side. I think he might even be 31, and he is 31. So we've got good depth in centre and attacking kind of midfield. And no wonder Charles Mann is such a good finisher. He's actually got striker as his secondary position. We do have good depth in center and attacking midfield, but it's older depth. We're not going to have it for too much longer. However, let's continue on to the crew game, which we are going to be quick simming. Hooper is pleased that he gets the start. El Fakiri is pretty chuffed with what we've got going on as well. And let's set everyone to balanced in the meantime. Again, I think we're going to have to rotate the 11 somewhat for crew. And we've got an email from the senior physiotherapist, which I'm hoping is going to say, oh, it's Sean Rose, of course. I forgot he was injured. I was hoping that was going to say Ethan Saint is going to be back soon. Yes, please. Yes, send me any players in Discord. I do still have your wish lists from last time as well. And I remember there were a range of different players on there, different overalls. So we can certainly look at kind of the lower overalls in terms of players to target. But yeah, join the Discord if you haven't already. And that's going to be another place where you can drop in suggestions for players that we should be targeting. Again, probably more for next summer because we're not going to be targeting too many players in January. We do have a big budget. We have 45 million currently in the bank. However, I started with a 50 million initial budget just so that there could be absolutely no chance that I wouldn't have the money to set things up the way I needed to set things up. We have 3.5 million in Buzzco's Core DNA companion tools. So that's what we're going with. Our budget in the game is ultimately irrelevant. We will be going with the budget that we are given in Core DNA and sticking strictly to that. So Dave Williamson is going to need a rest. Charles Mann is going to start up front. He gets a -3, which is less than ideal. We are going to start Bentley at right back. Jamie Burns is going to come back in at left back. And let's also give Seymour a start at centre back. I think those are probably the only changes we can afford to make, although actually Sean Rose is fit to return to the 11, and he's already up to a 66 overall. I feel like he only started as a... Or maybe he started as a 65, actually. So I don't think he's progressed quite as much as I initially thought. But we do have another game at Redmont Arena, taking on Crew Alexandra, and we will just be quick simming this one. And we lose 3-2. So it's been a less than ideal episode so far. Sean Rose does get on the score sheet, as does Blake Bird. But it's back-to-back defeats, and we have only a draw to show for our efforts in the episode so far. Buzzco is definitely a beast. And yeah, the sheet is completely free. That is one thing to add as well. Anybody is completely open and free for anybody to use. If you haven't used it yet and you would like to, you have to make a copy of the sheet. So it's on Google Sheets. And we have some scouting reports here to get to. You have to make a copy of the sheet and you have to save it to your Google Drive. Once you do that, you can then edit it and it's completely interactive from there. But you don't need access. You simply need to make a copy of the sheet. Shane Cowan looks like a decent option. 0 to 3 playstyles, just a 47 to 57 overall, with some decent enough looking attributes, although they're obviously not ideal. Our youth scouts are also just a 1-star at the moment. 77 to 94 potential for Riley Beckett. The actual attributes on the left-hand side don't look so good, though. So it very much looks like he's going to be a very low overall. Not the same for David Hogg. He's probably going to be a relatively high overall, but he only has a 58 to 70 potential. Dynamic potential could, of course, change that. Matthew Clark looks solid as well. One additional thing that we will be doing, again as a result of Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool, we are not guaranteed to be able to sign Youth Academy prospects. We have to put it into the realistic signing calculator in the Core DNA tool, and based on a range of different factors, the overall of the player, the potential of the player, the size of the club, the traits that you have unlocked, is going to determine whether or not you are able to sign the Youth Academy products. So we won't be signing anyone just now. We'll have to run them through the calculator in order to do that. And I'm really struggling with training plans here as well. I think it's going to be really difficult to keep everybody fit and sharp in this particular series, because with just the stamina levels are going to be so low just because they are lower overall players. And I think we're just going to have to settle for playing with a less than fully fit 11 on mostly a week-to-week basis, to be honest. Trying to translate it into Portuguese. Yeah, I mean, if you can, it is an amazing and immersive addition to your career mode experience. So if that's possible, I would definitely recommend doing so. Elijah Hurst wants to play. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. We will see. But we have Walsall next, who are 7th in League 2. And Elijah Hurst might be forced to play, to be fair. And he's not. Jamie Burns is actually fit. So I'm going to decline to start Elijah Hurst. And we will go back to a bit more of a starting 11. Although Williamson, I think we're going to leave out for an additional game. And I'm actually not going to put him in the side at all, just to make sure he gets rest and he's fully fit for the next one. Because we're going to be playing MK Dons in the FA Cup to round out the month of November in a week's time. So we should have plenty of opportunity for everybody to get fully fit for that one. Fully fit and hopefully fully sharp. So let's quick sim against Walsall and hopefully get the win, and we do. It's a narrow win, but that doesn't matter. 3 points is 3 points. Brandon Stokes grabs a goal in the first half. And Walsall will equalise 64 minutes in, but Pearce grabs the winner just a minute later. That's a big 3 points. Hopefully turns this episode around, because it hasn't been going our way, really, to be honest, so far. We got the draw against Port Vale. We lost 2 straight, and now we have beaten Walsall. So, and we've got an update for Kabore. So he's going to be a plus at box to box right now. That's the final thing probably that I'll mention for today's episode. We've only got 3 focused development plans. Again, that's a restriction imposed on us by Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool. Wrong opposition for Elijah Hurst. However, we will look to sort the squad out and have a good week of training so we can be fully fit and a little sharper this time around for the MK Dons game in the FA Cup. Again, I mean, if we want full fitness, we're going to have to take a hit on the sharpness, unfortunately. And that's just going to be the way it goes. Maybe not so much the case when we don't have such a congested run of fixtures. And we can probably leave Man on balance and just leave him out of the next game. And we'll just put everybody on the bench on... we'll put everybody on the bench on performance focused. But I've just put everybody on performance focused. Apply for all subs and reserves. So we should have, aside from Ethan Saint, a complete squad to choose from for the next game. And hopefully we will progress to the next round of the FA Cup. So let's see who we've got available. So Saint's still injured, but Williamson is going to come back into the starting 11. El Fakiri, I think, can continue on the left. And we are back to the 11 that we started the episode with, which I think is our best 11. Let's bring in Norman. And let's actually put Hardy on the bench over Seymour. Hardy hasn't had much of a chance to play in today's episode. And I guess we will keep Hurst on the bench as well. So Hurst, Hardy, Bentley, handful of midfielders, and then Lewis up front. Hopefully we don't have to bring him on. And in fact, I might even just stick Davidson on the bench instead of Lewis. And we can put Bird up front if we need to. Let's quickly save things before we move on here as well. All right, so MK Dons, Redmont Rangers, FA Cup. First FA Cup fixture of the series, and it's intent on forcing us to run out with a clash of kits. Another Molten Road team down in League 2, MK Dons. MK Dons Stadium is pretty much what Redmont Arena is modelled on. That kind of purpose-built, smaller stadium, but modern, up-to-date, and built as a venue as well as a sports stadium, really. That may have been Dominic Ball in the Youth Academy. I can't say I recall if that was the name of one of our youth prospects, but it could well be. And yeah, as I said, I'm not massively up on my League 2 teams, players, on my League 2 lore at the moment. So I'm not familiar with Dominic Ball of Leyton Orient. But if we do have a Dominic Ball in the Youth Academy, that certainly could be a storyline to pursue. But looking to put in our best performance of the episode here today, I would say. That's an awful challenge on Jordan Hobbs, which goes unpunished by the referee. Kabore finds Kai Fry. Dave Williamson already making a good run in behind. However, we are forced backwards by MK Dons. Going to try and play a little more patient in this one. Rather than just playing constantly direct, we're going to look to try and dictate the play a little bit more in this particular fixture. It's a good pass from Sean Rose, laying it into the path of Kabore rather than playing it straight into his feet. And Kabore takes a shot from range and is parried away by the MK Dons keeper. But positive signs early as Sean Rose prepares to take the corner. As Kai Fry prepares to take the corner. In search of Dave Williamson, can't find him. Hutchinson wins the header though and turns it back towards goal. And brought down by Burns on the halfway line. And El Fakiri back in position to halt that counter-attack. And that's so well won by Jamie Burns. Climbing on the back of his opponent to get his head to that ball. Not the most hardy of players, Jamie Burns. We see him in the gloves when it's barely even into the really cold weather. We're not even in December yet. El Fakiri the same. And Brandon Stokes has stepped up, but has forced the ball backwards. It's a risky proposition, stepping up with the centre-back onto the midfielders like that, because of course if you're not successful in that press, then you are so exposed in behind. Good block from Corey Hutchinson, just good patient defending, holding his ground. And we are really missing Ethan Saint. He does such an underrated job in that false nine. He's just so well suited to that particular role. Just dropping into midfield, collecting, carrying the ball, linking the play between the midfield and Dave Williamson. And anytime we have any other striker in that particular position, they just don't have the same kind of impact that Ethan Saint does. So I'll certainly be pleased when we get him back. I think we're going to be without him for a while yet, though. As I said earlier, I don't think we'll be seeing him in this episode at all. As MK Dons get their first shot away. A bit more of a lively start to this game than the previous couple. Couple of chances for both sides early. Anchor finds Tucker. It's a good challenge from Pierce, though, and Kabore can break. It's a good challenge from MK Dons, though, to halt the counter-attack immediately, and they still have players forward from the corner. Sharing. Sean Rose can't win it back. Good to have him back in the midfield, though, after that brief stint out with injury. Kai Fry, and we've waited far too long. And Williamson is going to be offside this time. We waited far too long to play it in behind. Tucker once more for MK Dons. Looped up towards Anchor, who is bundled to the ground by Jordan Hobbs. So Hendry will take the free kick, lofted into the box and turn towards goal from Hendry. I hate that. You obviously want it thrown overarm there by Callum Broad, but he just rolls it out through two MK Dons players. Kabore finds Hobbs. Kai Fry on the overlap. And this is where we like to be. Driving at back lines. Players in the box. Collecting the second balls on the edge, like we are doing with Kabore, whose shot causes the MK Dons keeper some trouble. Kind of spills it, but close enough to his body that he can reach out and reclaim possession once more. Good challenge again from Jamie Burns. He's defended much better so far today. Had a disappointing start to the episode, but he's got the MK Dons right winger in his back pocket at the moment. El Fakiri, Kabore. Oh, we just needed to let that run. Jordan Hobbs finds Sean Rose. Jamie Burns once more. And there's Charlie Pierce. Can't find El Fakiri. Disappointing. We had players over there. We had a bit of an overload on the left-hand side. And I hate that phrase, overload. But that is the situation. As MK Dons put the ball over us. Another good opportunity for Hendry. That is the situation that I would describe it as an overload. I just feel like everybody calls any kind of situation where you have one extra player an overload. If you've got a winger with an overlapping fullback against just one fullback on the defending team, that's an overload apparently. It's not an overload. But I feel like overload has just become one of those buzzwords that's just everybody has to say every 5 minutes now. That's a really poor pass. Jordan Hobbs steals it away, though, and could be in behind. Doesn't have a huge amount of pace, Hobbs, but does have the composure to find Kai Fry. Fry turns back. Kabore. Hobbs once more. And there's Jamie Burns. Kabore again. Charlie Pierce. Sean Rose on the underlapping run, but Pierce just finds Fry. MK Dons well positioned now to defend, and we are struggling to find a way to break them down. And it was well defended, to be fair. MK Dons just got players back just between us and the goal, and we're just kind of biding their time, waiting for us to make a mistake. And eventually we did. And that's kind of the problem with manual passing. I think maybe that's one of the reasons I play so direct so often as well. Is that you're just... the more passes you make on manual passing, the higher your chances of making a mistake and losing possession. Williamson, make that run. He doesn't. Kai Fry. Anamola Kabore, outside him. Kabore. Kai Fry again. Sean Rose in the kind of position we've been trying to find him for the last couple of attacks, and Jamie Burns strikes from range, and it's just... he's not the player we want to be taking on the shot there, really. Decent build-up play again, though. And we have used possession a lot better in this game, I would say. We have been a bit more patient and a little less direct. And it looks as though just outside the centre circle, an MK Dons player has taken a tumble and is struggling to make it back to his feet. He does so, but he looks in pain. Head in his hands. So potentially MK Dons will be looking to make a change, as it is Burns who is injured. Pierce, nicely worked, and El Fakiri can drive at the right back. We could do with Pierce on that overlapping run. But he is the striker, that's not really in his remit. Kabore, Rose, El Fakiri. And I mean, if Pierce, if you're going to take up that position, you have to make that overlapping run. There's no point standing there if you're not going to make the overlapping run. Shering finds Thompson, Summers and Kelly. Burns, what a ball in behind. First time for Schultz. Brandon Stokes can't make the interception, and Hutchinson just allows the MK Don striker all the time and space that he wants there. Brandon Stokes potentially should have been a little more proactive in the challenge, but look at Hutchinson. He just stands and watches. And again, I feel like we've let Callum Broad down. Potentially, he should be doing a little better there at his near post. But Stokes and Hutchinson just have not been on the same page today. And it's cost us on several occasions. It's cost us again here in the FA Cup. And after we've, I want to say, controlled the game, but I'm not sure that's... Good save, Callum Broad. I'm not sure that's an accurate depiction of what's happened. I think we've controlled possession for the most part. I wouldn't say we've necessarily controlled the game. I think MK Dons have arguably had the better opportunities in the first half and have had more of them. It's a good block from Brandon Stokes. And again, we'll try and launch a quick counter-attack and try and play a little bit more direct here now that we are a goal down. Really good industrious play from Sean Rose, and it's a good run from Nnamdi El Fakiri. Perfectly placed pass. Charlie Pierce is up in support too, and that's a horrific challenge. We could see a red card here. It's going to be at least a yellow, but we could well see red. A sliding challenge from behind, and it's just a yellow. I think he's lucky to get away with that one, Liam Kelly. Charlie Pierce not happy with the challenge at all. And you can see why. It was a really poor one. Arguably two-footed. And Charlie Pierce is not going to take this. We'll take it with Sean Rose, and we will go for goal. We'll try and curl it into the top corner at the near post here. And it looks good. And it's parried away by the keeper. Somehow stays in play as well. I thought that was going to curl into that near post and nestle into the side netting. Oh, it's a beautiful free kick from Sean Rose. It deserved a goal. But an equally good save from the MK Dons goalkeeper, to be fair. What a good time to score that would have been as well. Good defending from Brandon Stokes. Looks like the first half is about to tick away though. And yet again we're going to go into the halftime break behind. Just a goal behind. We certainly do still have time to get back into the game, but a less than ideal scoreline at halftime. And that's been the story of the episode so far. Is it just me, or the manual control system so badly configured by design? I would say it can be. So I think it's kind of, because it can't be, you can never have it purely manual. And that's what kind of causes some of the issues, I think. Charlie Pierce. Blocked. Williamson can't get there. Hobbs collects. Finds Rose. Looks for Williamson, who nods it wide towards Kai Fry. But yeah, the manual controls can never be truly manual, because at some point it does have to lock onto a player to receive the pass. And you do sometimes see it lock onto the wrong player. So I think that's what causes the issues with passes going astray and things of that nature. It's that, yes, the ball is going exactly where you are aiming it, or exactly where you input that the ball goes. Of course, with certain things included or accounted for, like the pass error slider, like the player attributes. But it does have to lock onto the recipient of the pass. So it's not truly manual in that sense. Sean Rose wins the header. Charlie Pierce with some space to drive. What a challenge. What a challenge. Just as Pierce is about to let fly, the MK Dons defender gets the foot in. And I was certain we were going to see an equaliser there. More certain even than through Sean Rose's free kick at the end of that first half. I thought we were going to see Charlie Pierce absolutely let rip and bury it in that far corner. Running one way, shooting back the other. That's a good ball from Brandon Stokes to Kai Fry. Nnamdi El Fakiri wins the header. And we've got runners ahead, one of whom is Charlie Pierce. And we've got Williamson square. And I have a correction to issue. I said earlier in the episode that Dave Williamson's goal is going to be the easiest one he's ever scored. I think that one was slightly easier. The goal in the first game against Port Vale was from 6 yards out. I think this one maybe was from 4. It's from the exact same distance. It's almost a carbon copy goal. It's from the exact same distance, just inside the 6-yard box. But we do have an equaliser in the FA Cup. And I'd like to say it's been coming. And to be fair, in the second half, I think it has. We had the free kick from Sean Rose at the end of the first. We had that opportunity for Charlie Pierce moments ago. And he has been incredibly unselfish there because, again, he could have looked to grab the goal himself. And you know, after having that opportunity stolen away from him at the last moment, just minutes before, you know it would have been in his mind to grab the goal on the second occasion. But instead he squares it to Williamson, who's far better positioned. And Williamson is never going to miss from there. Broad finds Hobbs, who finds Kai Fry. And Williamson has made the run in behind. And he's going to get there. And he's going to shrug off the challenge of Tucker. He's going to square for Charlie Pierce. And it looked for all the world as if Williamson had repaid the favour. But it's a fantastic reflex stop from the MK Dons keeper. And it is all Redmont Rangers now. An hour into the game as Kai Fry delivers. And Kabore just kind of heads it, but nowhere. He got his head to the ball, but the ball didn't seem to go anywhere. Sean Rose. El Fakiri at the back post. Wins the header on the second attempt. Can't turn it either towards goal or towards a Redmont teammate, though, and that's a dangerous pass, which Charlie Pierce almost steals away. Nodded down by the MK Dons defender. And they're going to make a change. I think we might make a change or two here as well. Jonathan Lecco to come on for MK Dons. And let's see who we've got on the bench to bring on. Pierce, I think, has played well. He's lacking on fitness at the moment, but he's playing very well. El Fakiri maybe not so much. So, and we dropped Charles Mann from the side, didn't we? We dropped Charles Mann completely. He would have been the ideal substitute at this point. But let's bring on Bird. And I think let's make that the only change that we make for now. I think the next round of substitutions will be Kai Fry and Charlie Pierce. The next Palace episode will be out tomorrow. So tomorrow, 4 p.m. So Palace episodes from now, there's going to be 3 episodes per week. Now that we have... So the plan was going to be 2 Redmont Rangers episodes per week, 2 Crystal Palace episodes per week. But now that we're moving to the live stream for Redmont Rangers, we're going to add an additional Crystal Palace episode as well. So there'll be 3 Palace episodes per week now. So we'll be able to get through that series a little bit quicker as well. And cover a bit more ground. Maybe get through an additional season beyond what we might have planned. But in the same time frame, Hobbs beats his man. Kai Fry. Dave Williamson. Can he bring it down? Not quite. And so Crystal Palace episodes will now drop every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Saturday at 4 p.m. Redmont Rangers streams will be every Friday at 7 p.m. So that's the new schedule going forward. Blake Bird. Adamola Kabore is there. We'll just play it off the MK Dons defender and grab a corner though. With plays in the box like Dave Williamson, but also like Corey Hutchinson, like Brandon Stokes. I do like grabbing corners. And Kabore was actually the winner of the header on that occasion. And how can he be offside? There were defenders still. Oh, okay. They weren't quite as deep as I thought. I thought we had Kai Fry there. I thought we had a defender or 2 keeping him on, but they had actually vacated the 6-yard box a little quicker than I'd anticipated. Charlie Pierce pressing high. Dave Williamson taking away the one option as well. Kabore doesn't quite win the header. It's going to fall to Blake Bird though, who's going to strike from range, and it's a good effort. Again, just put your head down, put your foot through it, get it on target. Ask a question of the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper unfortunately had the answer. Williamson's turn to press now. I really don't want to draw. I really don't want to draw here. Obviously, I prefer a draw to a loss, but of course, at this stage of the FA Cup, it's going to be a replay if we draw. And I don't want extra fixtures on the schedule, to be honest. Although, I guess now that we are almost certainly out of the BSM trophy, I guess space will open up on the fixture list for an FA Cup replay if one is needed. MK Dons mounting a decent attack here, though. And played in behind. Linesman waving for a foul, but referee plays advantage. And it's good defending from Kabore, but the MK Dons striker gets the shot away nonetheless. Thankfully, it is hooked clear. And Pierce wins it. And could be in behind. And could have Williamson square once more. It's just Charlie Pierce all alone this time, and he does get his goal. Terrible, terrible mistake from the MK Dons defender. It looked as though he had everything under control there. But Charlie Pierce stole the ball away. A last-ditch, desperate lunging challenge from his covering teammate is not enough to put Charlie Pierce off his stride. And it's a composed finish. He showed not only a selflessness earlier when he squared it for Dave Williamson, but some composure as well. And he's shown composure there once more, despite his youth, to tuck it past the MK Dons keeper to give us what I believe is our first lead of the episode, is it not? MK Dons do have a free kick, though, in a dangerous area. I would invite the number 10 to shoot from here, which he does. And it's actually a really good effort. Parried away by Callum Broad with a strong hand. I didn't think the free kick would be quite so threatening if the number 10 was to shoot from that range, but it certainly was. I invited the shot and he took me up on the invitation. And MK Dons, I feel like are really going to press for an equaliser here. And why not? Oh, and his beautiful feet. Cut out by Hutchinson, though. Hutchinson. And I think the MK Dons player there was a little too unselfish. Williamson's not quite going to get there. Steals it away, though. And the MK Dons defender steals it straight back. Couple of pickpockets going back and forth. Sean Rose through to Blake Bird. Can't bring it under control to thread it through to Charlie Pearce, who was well positioned. And with 5 minutes to go in the game and just a single change, we are going to have to make some more substitutions shortly. Probably should have made them earlier. But I've just been so locked in trying to defend this single goal lead. And it's another big save from Callum Broad. MK Dons really pushing for the equaliser now. Kabore into Hutchinson and into Kai Fry. And we just need to try and keep possession as much as possible in these final 5 minutes or so. It's an awful touch from Jamie Burns. Thankfully he keeps the ball in play and Sean Rose can turn away. Kai Fry in space. We've got Jordan Hobbs in support. We don't necessarily need him to make an overlapping run, though. I'd rather he just do exactly what he has done and hold his position. Sean Rose, Jamie Burns. I'd like a run in behind from Blake Bird there, though. It's a good ball from Burns. And Bird beats his man. And Sean Rose is just standing there. He's just standing there, watching the ball trickle towards him. Had no intention whatsoever of taking any kind of a step towards the ball there. For some reason. That is one of the more frustrating things about FC25. Just the lack of awareness and alertness from some of these players is unreal. Pearce can't quite find Williamson. And he is bundled over as he chases down Tucker. Ilunga finds Lee. MK Dons in their final desperate attempts to grab an equaliser here. The substitute Lecco lofts it into the box. Sean Rose well positioned to head clear, and Kai Fry puts his head where it hurts. Manages to see out the last couple of seconds of the game. And we do finally have a victory. A victory in games played anyway. We had one in simulation, but we do finally have a win in a full game as well. Thanks in no small part to Charlie Pearce, who set up Dave Williamson for the equaliser and then grabbed the winner himself. Fantastic performance from the youngster. And I feel like maybe we got away with one there. And we did, based on those statistics. MK Dons edged possession, they edged shots. They had 100 more passes than us almost. Or more than 100 more, actually. I think we got away with one there, but we'll certainly take it. We are through to the next round of the FA Cup. Burton Albion, I think, are
just a couple of questions for
a
you.
good team to use as well. I think almost any League 2 team is going to be a fun career mode save, because you start with so little and it takes so long to build up. Or, I mean, depending on how you play, it can take so long to build up and to build your club from almost nothing to a giant. And it's just 2 days between now and our next game against Wimbledon. So, yet again, I think we're going to have to be rotating our 11. Elliot Hardy, I think we need to start playing a little more often, because he is a decent player and he is young and he has a lot of potential. He doesn't get a look in over Hutchinson or Stokes at the moment. However, we do need to do a better job of rotating him in. We play Seymour a little more often. That's the other thing as well with the generated squads, the player roles are all not bugged exactly, but look at the amount of crucial players we've got. We've got, you know, like 15 crucial players. Maybe not quite that many, but we've got several. So it's impossible to keep everybody happy, and Elliot Hardy is distinctly unhappy at the moment, but we have Hutchinson, we have Stokes, we have Seymour, who are all crucial centre backs, as well as Hardy. And he submitted a transfer request. I actually didn't catch that from the message. So unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be saying goodbye to Elliot Hardy in January. We don't have an offer for him yet, but it looks like we're going to be getting one before too long. So that will give us a little bit more money to work with in January at the very least. One of our... yeah, so he actually hadn't submitted a transfer request last time we saw Elliot Hardy, but he now has. It wasn't inevitable, but we will try and learn from this experience. So one of our custom objectives for this season, this is something else we're going to be doing in this particular series. We are setting ourselves custom objectives for each season. And one of those is to turn a profit in the transfer market. So it's not that we can't bring in players in January. It's just that we need to make more from player sales than we spend in January. So that will help us to do so if we sell Elliot Hardy, because we could probably get close to $1 million for him, I would imagine, just based on his age and his overall. But let's go with this lineup for the next game against Wimbledon. We have 6 games to get to currently in December. I don't see another BSM trophy game, so we are out of that competition. But we do already have a trip to a big club in the FA Cup to get to. And that's going to be in January against Burnley in the 3rd round. So, chance for us to make a bit of money since, well, I mean, it's not at home, to be fair. But a chance to prove ourselves against a big club. I probably would have preferred playing a Crawley or a Wrexham or a Lincoln and giving ourselves a better chance of getting through to the next round. But a trip to Turf Moor in the next episode wouldn't be the worst thing. So let's play another 2 of these League 2 games. We've played MK Dons already. I don't think we need to play them again. I think let's play Colchester. That's in my neck of the woods here in East Anglia. I have been to Colchester Stadium before, actually, so we'll visit them. And let's play Wimbledon. Let's jump straight into another game against Wimbledon. We'll play Colchester to round out the episode. And we'll quick sim everything in between. We are currently 2nd. Fleetwood currently running away with it in top spot in League 2. 35 points. But they've lost more games than us. They've lost 4 games. They've only drawn 2, though. 1-11. Whereas we have only lost 3, but we've only won 8. We've scored more goals than them, though. And we are joint along with Fleetwood and Swindon Town for, I was going to say, the fewest goals conceded. But Notts County, all the way down in 9th, have only conceded 13. And actually, Gillingham have only conceded 12. So, a distinct inability to put the ball in the back of the net for Notts County and Gillingham is very much holding them back. Because they are the joint best defences in the league at this stage. And they really should be higher up the table. Harrogate Town are all the way down in 20th. Bromley, Carlisle, Cheltenham, the bottom 3 at this point. And Burton Albion are in League 1, are they? I thought Burton Albion were in League 2. but apparently not. I don't see them there. Yeah, I'm not massively familiar with lower league English football, to be honest. I follow the Premier League and the Championship, and there are Burton Albion. They're about to be in League Two, to be fair. They're not too far off it. They're in the relegation zone already. There are, of course, 4 teams that go down from League One to League Two, and 4 teams that come up from League Two to League One. So there is, of course, the third automatic promotion place. So I think we can grab one of those this season. Maybe we won't win the league, but I'm thinking we can finish in one of those top 3 spots. We are currently joint on points with Swindon and Barrow just below us. MK Dons and Tranmere just below them. And where are Port Vale? It was said that they are one of the best teams in League Two. And yeah, not the case in this particular save. They're all the way down in 19th. But let's jump into our next game against Wimbledon. And I think we are fine with that starting lineup. If we're playing this game, I actually don't want to play with Lewis. Ethan Saint is still out. Pierce needs a rest. He needs a rest. Let's give Lewis a go. If we are going to be playing with Lewis, though, he needs some boots. I'm pretty sure in the last game, I saw that he just had the regular white and blue boots. I've changed some of their boots. I haven't changed everyone's. Kind of the main 11 and the substitutes that I know are going to play. I have given them some custom boots. Those are decent. These I haven't seen before. They're actually pretty nice. Those look like something Lewis would wear. I feel like he would go for pink. All right, so Wimbledon are 12th. They're going to be playing a 5-3-2. And all 3 of their midfielders are key players, apparently. They've only won, rather, one of the last 5. And they're going to press aggressively, but build patiently. So a high-pressing team who try to keep possession when they win the ball back high up the pitch by the looks of things. So another game at Redmont Arena in League Two. And I feel like a win here is essential. We need a better month of December than we had of November. Are there any mods that hide overall ratings and potentials? There aren't. Well, I don't know what mods are available for PC. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a mod available for PC that did something along those lines. On console, obviously, you can't do that. However, Buzzco's Core DNA companion tool has an option to play with hidden potentials. On the previous edition of the sheet, you would have to kind of manually input the potential from FIFA or something like that. But you can play with hidden potentials on Buzzco's Core DNA mod. Obviously, that only applies to the mod itself. There's no way to hide the potentials in-game if you're playing on... Or to hide the overalls. Obviously, you don't see the potentials in-game. But there's no way to hide the overalls on console. Maybe there is on PC. Are you on PC or are you on console?
Thanks. Good game. Good game. Hey, good game. Thanks. Good game. Good luck.
Dennis, Buzzco will actually be doing exactly that. He does have... So the current Core DNA is the second edition of the sheet. There is a previous edition. And if you check out his YouTube channel, he does have a series of tutorial videos breaking down each of the tabs in the Core DNA sheet. How to use them, you know, what its purpose is. Lewis finds Williamson, and his header goes wide. Decent header falling away to his right. And Buzzco is going to be making the same set of tutorial videos for version 2 of the sheet. So I don't know when those will be released. but they will be released shortly. You can, though, in the meantime, just go and watch the tutorial videos for version 1, because a lot of the information will still apply to version 2. Not all of it. There will be some things that have changed. But if you can learn how to use version 1 from those tutorial videos, you'll be, you know, you'll understand 75% of what you need to do on version 2, basically. If you mean not so much how to use the sheet, but kind of the setup we've got for Redmont Rangers, then I will go through that in probably the next episode, in the next live stream, because we will be going through the January transfer market at that point. We will be probably signing some youth players at that point as well. Lewis. Williamson finds him. Can Lewis grab his first goal for Redmont Rangers? No, he can't. It's an awful shot. So yeah, as we go through some transfers and some youth academy signings and things like that, we'll get stuck into the core DNA setup that we've got here for Redmont Rangers in the next episode. I'll go over all of the DNA and trait points that we've spent. I'll input the squad again. There's been a couple of updates to the sheets to fix bugs and things like that. So I've started a fresh sheet and I've input all of the information again into the new sheet, with the exception of the squad. I haven't input the squad again, so I'll do that between now and the next live stream. So we'll cover all that in the next one. Kai Fry finds Williamson. Bentley in for Hobbs today. Also needs a boot change by the looks of it. Lewis. And it's a good run from Kabore. The pass is a poor one, though. You can tell Lewis is a 52. Just the inputs are not accurate. The close control is just not there. He's just not a good player at this point. Playing him, though, is the quickest way to develop him. And if he's going to become a Redmont Rangers player in the long run, he needs to be on the pitch to either show that he can or cannot do that. Lewis with another chance to grab his first goal for the club. Can't even get the shot away on this occasion. I mean, he looks promising. He's picking up some decent positions. He's making some good runs. It's just he's so raw at the moment. Rose. Elijah Hurst picking up that kind of false back position, and Charles Mann makes the run in behind. Wimbledon want the offside flag to be raised. He was never offside there. Kabore shoots from range and it's blocked immediately and headed clear from Wimbledon, and immediately up to Stevens. I think we should win this game based on what I've seen early. I think we're going to get the better of Wimbledon here and potentially continue to solidify our place in those automatic promotion places. We need playoffs at the very least. And based on the way we've started this season, I struggle to see how we wouldn't make the playoffs. I think it's going to be playoffs at the very least. But again, automatic promotion is what we're looking for. We are looking for promotion to the Premier League as quickly as possible. I said early in the stream, we look to keep things as realistic as possible on the channel. And I mentioned in an earlier episode, as Williamson runs across the 6-yard box, can't get to the header before the Wimbledon defender. I said earlier in the series, probably in episode 1, we're going to have to suspend our disbelief a little more in this particular series, because we're trying to make things as realistic as possible, but I'm also trying to, I mean, it's a road to glory. We want some glory. We want to get to the Premier League. We want to get to Europe. The chances of a League 2 side getting to European football in 8 seasons is very, very low. So if we achieve that, like, technically it's probably not going to be realistic, but we're trying to do that in the most realistic way possible and in the most difficult way possible, setting ourselves all the restrictions that we are setting ourselves. In terms of the realistic gameplay, in terms of Buzzco's core DNA mod, in terms of the small budgets, the scouts, the coaches. It's a good challenge from Elijah Hurst, but the referee gives a free kick. Harbottle for Wimbledon. Lofts it up towards a fellow Wimbledon player, but headed clear by Sean Rose, and Lewis can drive with Charles Mann and Dave Williamson outside him. Charles Mann was looking for Lewis once more. I don't even know Lewis's first name. I think maybe it's Alex. I want to go with Alex Lewis. Could not find him though. Elijah Hurst. He continues to impress as well. Jamie Burns, our best left back. But Elijah Hurst is not bad. He is more than adequate each time he steps in for Jamie Burns for one reason or another. Man pressing. Lewis doing the same. He's definitely got youth about him, Lewis. He's definitely got the energy, the kind of quick turn of pace, the willingness to press that comes with youth. Rose can come away. Horrible challenge. We should see another booking here. Potentially our first red card of the episode. I think it's just going to be a booking though. And it is red this time. I was less expectant of a red card for this particular challenge than I was for the earlier one. And Josh Kelly is going to come on for Wimbledon as they make an early change half an hour into the game. Going down to 10 men. And we really should be able to go on to win this game now. Because we've started the brighter. We are the better side. And now we have a man advantage as well. We just have to make the man advantage count. Just keep possession. Just work the ball. Just force Wimbledon to chase us. And when you're chasing the game, when you're chasing the ball, even 11 on 11, it's difficult not to get gassed. But 10 on 11, getting gassed is just an inevitability. Sean Rose curls it with his left, and it's a really good effort. Especially since it's his weak foot. Exactly. Leicester, I think, are a very good example. Real life is less realistic than you think it would be. Things happen in real life. And if that happened in game, you would say, oh, how unrealistic. Leicester City getting promoted and then winning not just the Premier League, but also the FA Cup as well. In such quick succession. Swansea, League 2 to Europe. There's also just back-to-back promotions relatively often. That's not exactly a run-of-the-mill occurrence, but it's certainly not uncommon, especially at the lower leagues, back-to-back promotions. And of course, we saw Ipswich get back-to-back promotions from League 1 up to the Premier League the last 2 seasons. Kai Fry, Charles Mann at the back post. It's a perfect ball, and Charles Mann puts it wide. It was a perfect counter-attack. Kai Fry with a lofted ball up towards Charles Mann, and again, that's not his remit. He's not the kind of player we want stealing in at the back post and nodding the ball back across goal. But it was a good effort. It looked very, very close. The goalkeeper seemed to be fairly confident it was going wide. But I think there was a chance there that it was going to sneak in at the back post. Charles Mann. Very aggressive pressing from Wimbledon. And Charles Mann with a really poor pass. He does all the hard work. Skips away from the challenges. And then just plays the ball directly out of bounds. It's poor. But yeah, you are quite right. Things happen in real life. that you wouldn't anticipate happening, and it's all about the plausibility, in my opinion. Realism isn't about whether or not something is likely. Realism is about whether or not something is plausible. So a good example would be like Messi. Messi joined Inter Miami, and that's something you would say is definitely unlikely. People wouldn't have been able to predict that because, you know, imagine Messi at Barcelona. Nobody when Messi was at Barcelona was even anticipating him going to the MLS. However, him joining Inter Miami is plausible. Like David Beckham, I'm fairly certain some kind of ownership is part of the deal for Messi going to the MLS. I'm sure he's getting paid an unholy amount of money. Miami, just as a city, kind of geographically, and as a city is an appealing destination. Good strike. Parried clear from Callum Broad. And so just the opportunity for Messi at Inter Miami is an appealing one. So it's perfectly plausible that he'd go there at the end of his career. For the financial opportunities, for the business opportunities, for the kind of... not necessarily the geographic opportunities, but the market, the opportunities that the Miami market provides. So I'd say Messi to Miami, realistic, because yes, it's not likely, but it's plausible. If Messi was to end up at somewhere like Glasgow Rangers, that would be unrealistic, because not only is it unlikely, but it's also implausible. There's no reason for Messi to go and play for Rangers. Good save again, Callum Broad. There's not the same kind of opportunities that he has at Inter Miami. They wouldn't be able to pay him as much. They wouldn't be able to offer him a stake in the club. The Glasgow market doesn't have the same kind of business and marketing opportunities that playing it Inter Miami would. It's just implausible. It's just not going to happen. So I don't think realism has to be, oh, there's a high probability of this happening in real life. I think it has to be, is it plausible to imagine that this could happen in real life? And it's plausible to imagine that a team could go from League 2 to European football in 10 years. Everything would have to go right in order for that to happen, but if everything went right, it would happen. It could happen. It's plausible that it could happen, even if it is unlikely. That was a long ramble about what I think realism is. But Kabore finds Charles Mann, and we are still searching for our goal. Kabore could have it here. Pokes it towards goal with his right foot. And we could have done with him lashing across the ball with his left there, really, rather than just prodding at it with his right. And it really, it feels like we are a goal up. It feels like it's 1-0. And it just isn't. We still need to work to take all 3 points in this game. Especially since Wimbledon are down to 10 men and Sean Rose has been dragged down there. No card on this occasion, but Sean Rose completely dictating the game in central midfield today. Charles Mann twisting, turning, but just has to go back to Elijah Hurst. And Sean Rose finds Bentley with space to drive, plays it in behind for Kai Fry. Just has to keep the ball in play. Finds Williamson, who buries it. Third goal of the episode. And it's a big goal, and we finally have our lead at Redmont Arena. And it's been coming. We just need to work to maintain this lead now. Clean sheet. And all 3 points are ours. Really good finish, just through the legs of the Wimbledon defender. Excellent finish from Williamson. And he's found his scoring boots again. We did say early in the episode that double-digit goals maybe isn't an outrageous target. We haven't scored that many in total in today's episode, though. It's been a lot of close games. It's been a lot of kind of 0-0s deep into the second half. It's been a lot of 2-1s, 1-alls, and that kind of thing. So, not exactly a free scoring episode so far. So, Williamson's tally quite as high as double digits, but he does have 3, and they have all been important goals. Sean Rose finds Bentley. The crowd like it. Bentley likes the run in behind from Kai Fry. Kai Fry driving at his man. Forced to turn back though and find Kabore, who can drive at his man and find Sean Rose. Trying to find the space to shoot. Opened up there for a moment. Couldn't quite get the shot away though. There's Fry once more. And he's off. How is he offside there? Really poor. You can't be offside there. We'll make a change or two though, although the referee's whistle has just gone and I think I have missed the opportunity. Let's bring Kabore off for Webb. In previous editions, we have made changes there. Well won from Hutchinson. It's a loose pass, but Sean Rose just about gets there and drops it into the path of Dave Williamson. And Lewis couldn't make up his mind. He started to make a run across the 6-yard box. And then he kind of pulled back towards the penalty spot. Oh, and Brandon Stokes wins the header. Against the odds. I didn't think he was going to win that. I didn't put in too much thought into the aiming with the left stick there because I just thought there's no way Brandon Stokes wins this. But he did. Charles Mann pulls it back across goal and Alex Lewis was there. But cut out by the Wimbledon defender before he could turn it towards goal. 25 minutes to go. Nice little pass inside from the Wimbledon man. Poor pass on that occasion though. Stokes finds Hurst. And Blake Bird. I mean, I think he could have got there. I'm not sure why he gave up on that so quickly, Blake Bird. That was a decent pass. Dave Williamson can't win it back despite the high press. Blake Bird the same. Sean Rose almost nicks it. But Elijah Hurst does the defensive duties as he has so often. Charles Mann, can he bundle it in? No, he can't. He can knock himself out on the post. Again, I was kind of waiting for a run across the 6-yard box there with Williamson. Never ended up coming, but oh, what have they done? 2-0. Awful mistake. Awful mistake from the Wimbledon defence. Absolutely gifts us a second goal. And that's the game. It just passed it straight to Williamson. Never going to miss from there. Williamson is one of those players who he scores a lot of goals. And every goal that he scores is just a sitter. It's just one that you can't miss. And I'm not disparaging him at all. It's a skill in itself to be in the position to score those kinds of easy goals. And it's a sign that he's as much a player kind of between the ears as he is with the ball at his feet. His game is as much about being an intelligent player than being a skillful one. or even an athletic one. I mean, it's a good mix of all three, really. 6'5", decently pacey. He's a good athlete. Decent enough technical attributes as well. But so much of his game is just peeling off the shoulder of the last defender, picking up positions in the box to tap home. And we've seen it again there. Just positioning himself in the ideal place to cause an issue as Wimbledon try and play out from the back. And it was, of course, a gift from Wimbledon themselves. But it was Dave Williamson who was standing there to receive it. It wasn't anybody else. It's another good little run from Williamson. And I think he's going to be called offside here, and he is. We'll make another change or two as we enter the final 15 minutes of the game. Williamson can get a rest. And we will put Blake Bird up front instead. Either way, it's -4, unfortunately. And potentially... let's give Hutchinson a rest as well for Seymour. Thinking ahead to future games in the episode. Because, again, we've got a lot of fixtures here in December. Charles Mann with the feet. Skips away from Byler. Beats one. O'Toole for company as well, but cuts inside onto his right foot. He'd spent all his energy defeating those first two Wimbledon defenders. Couldn't defeat the third. O'Toole. Man. Still chasing down the ball even late in the game. I would rather he conserved his energy a little more for when he receives possession of the ball. And it's a great challenge from Stokes. And we've got space on the right-hand side for Teddy Hooper. As well as for Bentley. Hooper once more. And it's a great challenge. Great challenge from the Wimbledon defender. However, 10 minutes to go. Wimbledon really aren't presenting any kind of a threat at this point in the game. I'm happy enough for them simply to keep possession. As long as they keep it in their defensive or the midfield third, what concern should we have? And that's exactly what they're doing. I think they've probably resigned themselves to the fact that they are losing this game. Down to 10 men, down by 2 goals. Fewer than 10 minutes remaining. If they're going to get back in the game, they have to score really within the next couple of minutes. And it's not going to happen in that way. Final changes of the game for Wimbledon then. James Tilley to come on. And we've done exactly the same as Wimbledon at the other end. Thankfully, they don't take advantage like we did. But a really loose pass from Callum Broad. That's poor. That's poor. Trying to invite Wimbledon back into the game for some reason. Bird finds Super. Can we grab a third goal? He's never offside. He's never offside. I refuse to believe it. I don't care what I see on this replay. He's never offside. It's a lie. It's a lie. Sean Rose wins the header. Blake Bird with a good run, but Lewis just drives. Beats the Wimbledon defender. He makes a rash challenge, and Lewis just can't find the back of the net. Just cannot find the back of the net. Goalkeeper was beaten as well. Don't think he was ever getting to it. But Lewis continues to search for his first goal in a Redmont Rangers shirt. And it's starting to look like it's just never going to come for him. How many more chances he has in this episode to grab a goal, I'm not sure. And it's very much looking like it's not going to come in this particular game. Whether he grabs one in a future game we will have to wait and see, but we're only playing one more against Colchester. I don't think he's going to be starting in that game. Spring, I don't want to bring Lewis off for Hobbs. So just seconds remaining. What is that? That's something else that's frustrating about manual controls. Sometimes when you power up a pass before the ball gets there, but I think it must be when you haven't quite finished powering up the pass as the ball arrives, then you get passes like that. I was powering up the pass there, and I think Seymour must have took control just before I released the A button. I think if I'd have released it before the ball arrived with Seymour, we would have got the full power on the pass that I had input. But I think because the ball arrived just before, you just get that measly little prod that just goes nowhere. That's something else that's frustrating about manual controls. But I mean, I guess to more of an extent, it's my fault, because I should have the pass powered up already. Callum Broad hooks clear. Referee's final whistle goes. Comfortable 2-0 victory is exactly what we needed. And those 3 points could put us outright in second position, depending on how results around the league went. For the likes of Barrow, for the likes of, I believe, Swindon, the other team who were joint on points heading into this one. And yeah, Wimbledon they just had nothing going. 5 total shots on the game. They just had nothing going in that one. And do we see... So Fleetwood drew is an interesting result. So we do
just a couple
gain
of questions for you.
On Fleetwood. We draw 2 points closer. How things went for Barrow and Swindon, I didn't see, though. We need to be careful, actually, with our answers in this particular save, because
Thanks very much for speaking.
Sean Rose is now complacent. We've got him too happy, and he's now complacent. So we need to bring him down a peg or two in the next press conference, potentially. Do you have a scouting report for Ronan Darcy as well? We do have the scouting report set to slow for most players. So it is taking a long time to scout him. Any additional players in the chat that we should be targeting in January? Get them in there now, because it's going to take a long time to scout them. If we are going to have these players fully scouted by the beginning of January, we kind of need to add them to the scouting list and to the transfer shortlist now. So, like I said, we're not going to be spending a lot of money in January. We're looking to turn a profit. So, Elliot Hardy has requested a transfer, so it looks like he's going to be on his way out. He's worth 1.3 million, though. So we can get $1.5 million for him. So we can spend about $1 million on one player at the very least in January. So are there any players you think that we should target? Left back potentially is a position we could look to improve. Jamie Burns is decent, but he's a 62 overall at 28 years of age. And Elijah Hurst is 31. So we don't really have kind of a young option here to take over from either of those players once they move on. Centre-back, I think we're fine. Midfield, I think we're fine. We could potentially use another striker. So we are, of course, without Ethan Saint, who will be returning soon. 4 weeks. Yeah, so he'll be back in January. Dave Williamson, of course, is our star striker. And Charlie Pierce has looked good in today's episode. But beyond that, I was actually Ellis Lewis. I'm not sure why I thought his name was Alex. Potentially another depth striker could be a position to add. We did mention earlier as well that we've got a lot of depth in midfield at the moment, but with Hooper, Mann, and Bird, aged 29, 30, and 31 respectively, potentially centre midfield, like with Ronan Darcy, could be a good position to target as well. So I'm thinking left back, striker, centre midfield are the 3 areas that we really need to look at. So who do we target? I think we can get the scouts looking for those particular kind of players as well. We currently don't have any scouting instructions set. So let me set a couple of instructions for those particular positions. So a first team left back. We could use a first team prospect striker. And we could use probably a first team prospect or... yeah, probably a first-team prospect centre midfielder as well. Because, again, we do have a lot of depth there at the moment, but it's the future that I'm kind of concerned about. So, several games to get to now, but in the quick sim. So, we're going to be playing Colchester to round out the episode. But we've got several games to quick sim in the meantime. So the quick sim gods are going to have to be graceful. Oh, I keep doing that. I want all of the first team players on energy focused. I want all of the bench players on... I've done it again. Literally, as I'm complaining that I keep doing that, I do it again. I want all of the first team players on energy focused. I want all of the bench players on performance focused. So we have, I believe, 4 games to quick sim. We have Morecambe, we have Tranmere, we have MK Dons, we have Newport. We have a week off in between the majority of them. So shouldn't have to rotate the 11 too much, and we should have a pretty healthy squad available for the majority.
Hello.
Yeah, the faces in this edition look absolutely ridiculous. Hey, how you doing, Pulse? They look absolutely ludicrous. Somehow, the players, the generated players, and especially the youth players, somehow they look like small children and old women at the same time. It's absolutely unreal. And we completely forgot to bring Sean Rose down a peg or two, and we've actually bigged Dave Williamson up far too much. So they're both complacent now. They're out getting wrecked at the weekends rather than training for the games at this point. So potentially there won't be a place in the starting lineup for those two. How much we can trust them to play to the best of their abilities at this stage, I'm not sure. Let's start Blake Bird on the right-hand side. Williamson will start up front. We still don't have Ethan Saint, but Charlie Pierce can return to the bench for this one. So, Morecambe away in the purple third kit, and we lose. Sean Rose grabs a goal late on, but Lewis and Dackers grab the win. Fleetwood lost as well, though. That's a silver lining at the very least. And look at Callum Broad. Top of the clean sheet chart. Big credit goes to the defenders in front of me. He's humble as well. I love Callum Broad. I think he's my favourite player. Conceded 19 goals in 19 matches. That doesn't feel incredible, actually. It feels fine. A goal per game. That doesn't feel amazing, though. We are still second. Yeah, no, I mean, 19 goals. It is among the fewest in the entire league. I think there's 2 teams better than us. Yeah, I mean, a goal per game feels all right. Is that particularly good? Yeah, I don't understand either why we can't edit their faces. I mean, obviously I understand why you can't edit the faces of real players, but especially now that we have the whole cranium thing. That was an advertised new feature of the game. Let us use that. Obviously, we can create our own players using it, But yeah, I see no reason why we can't modify the players that the game gives us. Not just through generated squads in Creator Club, but also the players that come through the Youth Academy. There are quite often players that I will sign to the Youth Academy who look good in terms of their overall, their potential, their play styles, but they look horrific, as in their appearance is ludicrous. So I just release them. I can't have ludicrous looking players in my first team. And there's no reason that should be the case. Just let me change his face a bit, and then he can stay on the team. We're going to go through and sort all of these manually, because it's getting really difficult to balance the fitness and the sharpness. I think we should be able to keep this for the duration from here, though. For the duration of the episode. Because like we said, we've got a week off between most of these games. Yeah, the press conferences are ludicrous as well. But yeah, they always have been. They're kind of pointless. I kind of wish... I mean, I don't wish they would take away the press conferences, because I do like having those kinds of added elements in the games. But at this stage, it is just... It's pointless. It's cosmetic. It's not a real feature. Because they don't make any sense. They're not real questions. They're not real answers. You just say whatever is going to put the green bar in the correct place. At the very least, they should hide the bar. And you kind of have to... And have all that behind the scenes, and you kind of have to kind of, you know, guess what's going to be the best way to deal with your players. And we lose back-to-back games in League 2 against Morecambe and against Tranmere. This is the danger of the quick sim. Kai Fry gets himself sent off as well. At the very least, I think what they could do is have the different player personalities and have the answers make... Not have the answers make more of an impact, but have the different player personalities make more of an impact. So potentially if you upset a player, then, you know, they'll have a... there'll be an impact on their attributes. If you keep a player in the ideal morale range, then there'll be kind of a boost to their attributes, that kind of thing. I think they can do a better job of that at the very least. Let's start Norman ahead of Kai Fry, since he is going to be suspended for the next game. I really do not like that we have lost back-to-back games. That's less than ideal, to say the least. I don't understand how we never get players in Team of the Week either. Callum Broad has been there a couple of times. Other than that, we've had nobody in Team of the Week. Not even Dave Williamson, who is... I think he's amongst the top scorers in the league. So Norman to start at right midfield. I think we can just run out the strongest 11 other than that. I see no reason to put anybody else in the side. Elliot Hardy is completely out of the picture now. There's no point playing him when he's submitted a transfer request. And actually, we need to keep an eye on that, because that's yet another bug in the game. 0-0. We get a point at the very least. That's yet another bug in the game, that transfer offers don't appear, and you have to check in the transfer hub each and every time. Doesn't look like we've had any offers, which is surprising. However, I imagine we'll get some as we head into January. So, Newport, our final quick sim game of the episode. And our results in quick sim have been horrific, to say the least. Norman, you're out. Bird, you are in. Rose is going to have to come out as well for Hooper. And I think we start Mann up front, if we can find him. Where is Charles Mann? Here he is. We'll start Charles Mann up front for this one. 3 points, I think, is necessary against 16th place Newport County. At home, with a strong 11. And we do get all 3 points. Williamson, again, cropping up with a goal late in the game to grab the winner. Bird opened the scoring for us early. So let's check on the table as we head into our final game of the episode against Colchester. And we've dropped all the way down to 5th position. Yes, those couple of fixtures in the quick sim have really come back to bite us. However, we are only a win off top spot still. So still very, very tight at the top. Really all the way down to 12th position, really. 31 points Salford are on. They're only 3 wins away from top, all the way down in mid-table. But really down to 7th position, the playoff teams are starting to solidify themselves in those playoff positions. So Tranmere down to Walsall is where the first big gap appears, where there's a full win between 7th and 8th. So we said playoffs at the very least, and we are still taking strides towards making the playoffs. I do want automatic, though. So a win against Colchester to round out the episode is essential. Who do we have available for this one? Almost nobody. Williamson. Do we still have... We don't still have our training plans to take effect. Williamson is knackered. Charles Mann, even more so. So Pierce is going to start up front alongside Lewis. It's going to be Pierce and Lewis, the 19 and 20-year-olds. Thought Lewis was even younger than that. I think it's just going to be an overhaul of the 11 for this one. Rose is still knackered. Burns can come out for Elijah Hurst. That's not so bad. Other than that, the backline can stay intact. Bentley can come in. And I think Hooper's going to have to start. Davison's going to have to start on the left. This is a roughshod starting 11 for this last one against Colchester. Let's stick with Davison. Let's go Kabore in the deep line playmaker role for this one. Hooper in the box-to-box. And we're going to have a central midfield option on the bench in the form of Webb for certain. And then I guess we put Holland on the bench. Seymour can play centre midfield as well. So potentially he comes in for Hooper when Hooper has run his legs completely out from under him. Hobbs can make way for Stokes will be the final change. So, heading into the final game of the episode against Colchester. A win would make it a successful episode, I think. We have lost to Blackpool in the Cup, unfortunately. However, we've progressed in the next round of the FA Cup. We got a win against Walsall, against Wimbledon, against Newport in the league. And we've lost... So we've won 3, we've lost 3. We've drawn 2 in the league so far. And we've progressed to the next round of the FA Cup. So I think a final win here against Colchester would make it a decently successful episode. Maybe not quite as successful as we might have hoped, but successful enough given such a congested run of fixtures, given the injury to Ethan Saint, given the rotation that we have had to employ in the starting 11. Good to see you, Jacob. Thanks for checking in. It's, yeah, will be your first time catching the stream live. It's the first time we've live streamed, really, on, not the very first time we've live streamed on the channel completely, but the first time we've streamed this series. And I certainly haven't been a regular streamer here on the channel, but we will be regular going forward. Glad you're enjoying the Palace series. And yeah, thanks a lot for the support. Streams will be every Friday at 7. So be good to see you back here again next week and going forward. But yeah, good to have you here. Thanks for the kind words. So 5th position. And Colchester are down in 14th. So again, should be a relatively comfortable game. Even with the rotated 11, we should still have enough. And that guy was tiny. Who is the captain for Colchester? He is about 3 feet tall. I guess he was the model for the goalkeepers in the youth academy for this game. Oh, Samson Tavide starting up front for Colchester. So, real OGs of the channel, if there are any in the chat, I imagine there's probably not at this stage. But I wonder if there's any OGs in the chat who remember the very first season of Redmont Rangers. And we signed Samson Tavide. He was one of our very first signings in the OG Redmont Rangers series, which was the very first series on the channel.
Thank you. Enjoy the game.
I wouldn't recommend going back and watching it if you haven't seen it already, because, as I said, the very first series on the channel, it wasn't the best series. It's not the highest quality content you will see on YouTube. However, Samson Tavide was a player I was very excited about. He didn't really live up to expectations at Redmont. But he was a kind of big, strong, pacey. He was kind of the prototypical modern athlete up front. But just never panned out in terms of the technical ability. He's Adam Eder. He's Adam Eder. Massive. Strong. Pacey, but can't play football. That's who Samson Tavide was, for us at the very least. Whether he is that kind of player in real life, I'm not sure. And we could be behind early here. What a save, Callum Broad, hooked clear by Bentley. It's not massively late on in the UK. It's, what are we on? It's coming up on 10 PM. So it's not massively late, but it's getting towards bedtime. Can I assume from your name that you're in Australia? So, what time are you on there? What, you must be... Is it early morning there? No. Yeah, you're ahead of us if you're in Australia, right? Good challenge, Kabore. Good interception, Elijah Hurst. Kai Fry beats his man. 8:45 AM. I was going to say about 8 AM. I wasn't sure if that was a stupid thing to say, though. Time zones kind of throw me off sometimes. Hurst! Oh, every time an opportunity falls to... And his name's not even Hurst. I can't even get his surname right now. I was calling him Alex earlier. His name's Ellis. His surname is Lewis. I just called him Hurst for no reason. But every time an opportunity falls to Lewis, I get all excited. It's going to be his first goal in a Redmont Rangers kit. And he just makes a complete hash of it. He's awful. He's awful. Stokes. Oh, I've lunged in there. Oh my God. Callum Broad is far too nonchalant. That was far... I need you to be diving. Even if that is going wide, I need you to be diving for that, just to make sure. That almost knocked his water bottle over. It was so close. There's Lewis. That's a good run in behind from Pearce. Headed clear by Kelleher, though. And on a second occasion. But Davison brings it down. It's dragged to the floor, and it is a free kick. I thought the referee was going to let him get away with that. And Kai Fry will deliver the free kick. And it's into a good area, but it's headed clear. Kai Fry will collect. We'll find Corey Hutchinson, who strikes. It takes a deflection and us out for a corner. Nomad, whereabouts are you from in the US? We have a few American viewers on the channel and in the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't already. But yeah, whereabouts are you from in the US? I follow a lot of American sports. I'm fairly interested in kind of all things American. Big NFL fan. Kind of casual basketball and baseball fan. But yeah, where are you from? Thompson. Finds Reed. Thompson once more. Bendel. Payne. Tavide making a run in behind, but seems as though the Colchester players, like I grew to do, are not trusting Samson Tavide with the ball. They obviously have had the same experience that I did. Play the ball into his feet and things aren't going to end well for you. It's Pierce and Hooper. Ah, Tennessee. So a Titans fan, can I assume? I'm a big Colts fan. Gordon for Colchester. Thompson once more. Thompson, the danger man for Colchester. Down the left-hand side by the looks of things. Again, I'm not massively familiar with the Colchester side. I'm more familiar with Colchester sides of the past. I actually saw Jimmy Bullard play when I saw Colchester. It would have been back when I was following Ipswich. I think it was probably a pre-season friendly at the time when Ipswich had just signed Jimmy Bullard. So I saw Jimmy Bullard play against Colchester at their stadium, which was a sight to behold. He was getting on a bit then, Jimmy Bullard, but he definitely still had it. It's a really good ball from Bentley. And Pierce has made a good run, can't quite keep it in. Ah, Chiefs fan. Okay, that's fair. Got to a couple of Super Bowl parades. Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to be a Chiefs fan, right? I mean, it's always been a good time to be a Chiefs fan. Back to the days of Pierce, Davison. It's a poor cross, but it almost finds Ty Fry. It's always been a good time to be a Chiefs fan, but now obviously is a particularly good time. The Colts, though, have kind of had the Chiefs' number the last couple seasons. And actually tend to get the better of them. Maybe Pierce. And yeah, that was the case again most recently, I believe. But I mean, yeah, what kind of a brag is that? The Colts beat the Chiefs once. Yeah, the Chiefs have several Super Bowls to see and raise those absolutely meaningless victories. So out for a corner. I think maybe that will happen. I think potentially there is a chance we see some kind of AI interactivity in games in the not too distant future. Whether or not EA implement that well is a whole nother debate, but I don't think it's too unrealistic that, yeah, we could see some kind of AI feature implemented. Yeah, like for press conferences, for player interactions and that kind of thing. And I guess that could be one way that they make those features a little more immersive and a little more meaningful. Hooper, gotta be blocked. But yeah, obviously, Ultimate Team is the money maker. So unless it benefits Ultimate Team, it's going to be a long shot. It's going to be a secondary thought at the very least. It's not as if they don't do. It's not as if they do nothing for career mode. They just do little. But honestly, I think it wouldn't be too difficult for them to implement. With the rate at which AI is developing, and with the kind of the accessibility of various, AI models and things like that, I think it wouldn't be massively difficult for them to implement. I think it would be fairly straightforward. So I think they could... again, I thought Lewis was going to grab his first goal. I think they could do it relatively low cost and relatively low effort. And bill it as... How has that ended up in the back of the net? I don't care. It has. Brandon Stokes gets his first goal of the episode, and we lead 1-0 at Colchester. Yeah, I think they could bill it as, some big new AI addition when really they've added something very simple and straightforward. But I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Kai Fry, good challenge. Kabore finds Davison. Can't find Pierce. The difference between 60 overall and anything less is so tangible. I think 60 overall really is the big drop-off point. Players in the low 60s compared to players in the high 50s in terms of overall is just, it's so clear. Far more clear than players, in the high 60s compared to the low 70s, for example. Just players like Davison, Lewis, you can almost do nothing with them. But then even players like Jamie Burns, who's only a 62 overall, he just feels like a much better player. The same goes for Pierce. And here's Fry. 2-0. Fry squeezes it in at the far post. And this one is going to be a comfortable victory. It's 2-0 before half-time. This is the performance we've been looking for. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of more things would fall under the umbrella of AI than we recognize. I think you're right. There's lots of things that technically would be characterized as AI that we just don't call AI. So yeah, likely EA would just build on things that they already have at their disposal to make those kind of additions. Callum Broad has to get there, and he does. Headed clear by Hutchinson. And almost squeezed through, but Brandon Stokes cuts it out. And Davison comes away with it. The one thing about the Palace save using ChatGPT, while it has been fun and it is useful and it is immersive, the one kind of criticism I have, or the one thing that I find frustrating, is it's still too eager to please. It wants to say whatever it thinks you want it to say, and it wants to defer decisions to you. As hard as I try to get ChatGPT to take on the actual role of the sporting director or the owner and to make the decisions for itself and to be kind of cutthroat and ruthless and almost dictatorial, Lewis still won't happen for him. As much as I try and get ChatGPT to take the reins, it still just wants to defer to you. And you can kind of work around that, and you can still make it work for you. But I'd like to just be able to ask ChatGPT who it wants me to sign, and it just tells me, rather than it saying first, who do you think we should sign? And then I have to prompt it a few more times, or potentially even give it a list to choose from and things like that. I know I have to be careful what I wish for asking. I mean, I've just asked AI to be dictatorial, which is a slippery slope, if ever there was one. That's the start of many a sci-fi movie that have either been released or that will be released over the coming years. I want my AI to be dictatorial and to do whatever it wants regardless of what I say, and to tell me exactly how I should behave. It's definitely a be careful what you wish for kind of scenario. So maybe I should be happy that ChatGPT wants to defer to me and allow me to make the decisions. Bentley, good interception, but it's going to go out for a Colchester corner. What's going on, Nick? I don't use the paid version. No, I just use the free version. However, with the free version, you do get to use the most state-of-the-art ChatGPT for a certain number of characters. So the way that it works is it will give you the most up-to-date version, but when you've spoken to it for a certain period of time in one session, it will then revert back to the more basic model. So it kind of gives you a trial. It gives you a taste of the most up-to-date version. But each time you log on to a new session, I think maybe it's every 24 hours or something like that. So I don't actually spend too long speaking to it in each session. So I don't tend to use up those characters. So what you see in the Crystal Palace videos, that is with the state-of-the-art, the most up-to-date ChatGPT, because I only took to it for a brief period of time in each recording session. But yeah, with the free one, you basically get a trial of the paid version each time. It's been going good. Good to have you back. Well, our played games have been going good. We hit a pretty poor run of form in the quick sim. Couple of back-to-back losses against, it was Morecambe and it was, I believe, Tranmere. Lewis still can't grab his goal. So that's kind of hurt us a little bit. We've dropped down to 5th position in the table, but we are 2-0 up against Colchester in the final game of the episode. Looking to get back in those automatic promotion places before the calendar ticks over into January. No further injuries though, which is good. And we should get Ethan Saint back in January, so we should be back to a full complement of players available to us. Kabore can't quite put the foot in. Davidson chasing it down. Egbo for Colchester. And Samson Davide gets one of his first touches of the game. He's been almost completely anonymous so far. And he does very little with his first couple of touches. Colchester do have an injury to Gordon, so they may be making a change momentarily. Tavide once more. Finds his strike partner, but it's blocked well by Hutchinson. And Bird finds Lewis, who collects and drives. Just turns back, though. We don't need to force the issue too much. 2-0 up, late in the game. In a game in which we are comfortable. So once... It's just... I couldn't even turn with him there. I couldn't even turn with Lewis. 52 overall is just... It's so unreal how poor a 52 overall is. And I mean, it's amongst the lowest overalls in the game, to be fair. Bendel for Colchester. Reed. It's a good challenge again from Webb. We need to get him in the rotation more. I said potentially we'd be targeting a midfielder in January, but I think that's the least of those three priorities. I really think if we're going to buy anybody in January, it has to be a left back. Yeah, the quick sims. We're in December right now, Alex. We are playing our final game in December. But yeah, the quick sim is... It does feel weighted against you, to be fair, because even when you have when you're the better team with your strongest 11 out, you lose to inferior teams far too often. My understanding is that the quick sim is basically just it's just RNG based on the two teams' overalls with a slight factor of favorability for the home team. So I do try and quick sim when we are at home more often, because there is a slight boost to the home team as far as I understand it. But even then, you lose far too often to weaker teams. Lewis at the back post, can't get there. Let's make a couple of changes 70 minutes in. Let's rest a couple of players. Lewis can stay out there just because he can run himself ragged. But let's make a couple of changes on the wings. Let's bring Norman and Sadler both on. Let's rest. In fact, let's rest both of these. There's no reason not to keep our strongest 11 or players who would make up part of our strongest 11 out there. We're winning this game. Let's give some players a rest. So, quadruple substitution. Holland and Seymour both on at centre-back. Norman and Sadler on down the wings. And we'll try and grab a third goal if we can, because why not? But again, if we just keep a clean sheet, we will get the victory. Norman almost steals it away. And I thought it was Lewis for a moment. I don't know why I'm so intent on getting Lewis his first goal for Redmont. He's so unlikely to be a player for us going forward. It's just a point of principle now to try and get him his first goal in the episode. Sadler looks big. I didn't realise he was that tall or that thick. He looks enormous, does he not? Seymour can't win it back. Ward parries away at the near post. Mason Burstow. We'll get him scouted after the game then. And we'll add him to the transfer shortlist. Appreciate the suggestion. We are certainly going to be looking for free agents heading into Season 2 as well. So a couple of episodes between now and then, but free agents can be relatively difficult to find because the search parameters aren't particularly conducive to finding good free agents, unfortunately. Sadler. He is enormous, is he not? Pierce. Good feet from Pierce. Finds Kabore, can't quite get the shot away. So yeah, any suggestions, not just now, but over the course of the next couple of episodes for ideal free agents to sign ahead of Season 2 would be good. I think we need to unlock a trait in Core DNA to be able to sign free agents. Lewis, it's now or never. Parried away by the keeper. He does get a shot on target, to be fair, which is more than could be said for his previous attempts. So progress at the very least for Ellis Lewis. And it's a good ball towards Kabore. It's a poor header though. Difficult header, to be fair, but not the best effort. And then the final thing we'll be looking for in the transfer market, again, probably heading into Season 2 rather than here in or next episode in January, will be a an experienced, relatively big name player. So again, that's one of the rewards for one of our custom objectives. So if we make a playoff place, if we make the playoffs at least in League 2, then we are able to sign one player who's something of a big name. And it's going to be a relatively big name for a League 2 or a League 1 club. So, not Mbappe, not Jude Bellingham, but somebody like a Barry Bannon would be the kind of player that I'm thinking of. A championship player, maybe a lower level Premier League player in his early 30s who's kind of transitioning down the leagues in the late stages of his career. So somebody in that mould we want to be targeting as well. So we want to get some players scouted and added to the shortlist ahead of Season 2 there as well. Webb from range. Decent enough effort. Straight at the keeper though. Jay Stansfield. What would you guess his overall is if you don't know it off the top of your head? What kind of range are we talking? Anything in the 60s is fine. Certainly in the mid 60s. That's probably the top end, to be fair. Somebody in the 65, 66 range. If we go up to League 1, maybe somebody in the high 60s. Anybody in the 70s is going to be out of our range at the moment. Yeah, 68 I think would be fine, certainly if we go up to League 1. If we don't go up to League 1, maybe not. Pierce steals it away. Lewis, get in the box. Oh, it's an impeccable challenge. Perfectly timed. I was never going to shoot with Charlie Pierce. Not 2-0 up with seconds on the clock. Desperate to get Lewis's first goal. Again, I have no idea why. He's a nothing player. He's a 52 overall who is probably not going to still be in the squad in Season 2. But it's just a point of principle now. But a 2-0 victory to round out the episode. A comfortable professional victory. A decent enough performance. To be honest, I don't even remember who scored in this one. What have we got for events? Kai Fry. And who scored the... Kai Fry? Where's our second goal? What, we didn't have a second goal? It was 2-0. Why has Kelleher got a red ball? Is that just a chance? What is this? Tell me who scored. Maybe we can see it in performance instead. So goals for Kai Fry. Why do we have just one goal? It's an own goal. That's what the red is going to be. I'm an idiot. That's what the red is. So Kai Fry scores for us. An own goal was credited to the Colchester player. That took far too long for me to work out.
Just a couple of questions for you.
But yeah, let's take a look at the table. Let's take a look at our team statistics. And let's take a look at the January calendar. Own goal, yeah. It took me far too long to work that out. It's fairly late. I've been playing for a few hours now. Those are my excuses.
No further.
And it is Friday. It's been a long week at work. Let's add that to the list of excuses as well. We do rise back to second position in the table. So joint on points with Barrow. Just a point ahead of Swindon, Gillingham and Tranmere. Just 2 points ahead of MK Dons. So it's so tight at the top of the table. And we are 3 points behind Fleetwood Town in first place. I'd like to win the league. I don't mind too much if somebody else wins the league and we get automatic promotion. I would be more than happy with that. We are top goal scorers in the league, just about. We have 3 more goals than Swindon, 4 more goals than MK Dons, 3 more goals than Morecambe, And we have a good defensive record, if not absolutely stellar. Gillingham have conceded fewer than us. Notts County have conceded fewer than us. So we are top scorers in the league, and we have the third best defense. So we're certainly setting ourselves up for long-term success. Let's check in on the statistics around the league and within the team. So we have Dave Williamson down in 9th with 9 goals in 19 games. He had such a quick start to the season, but has quietened down in the last couple of episodes. Andy Cook with a massive 16 goals so far. Do we have anybody in the assists table? We do have Sean Rose with 5. And I believe we are going to see Callum Broad roaring ahead in the clean sheet race with a massive 11. And let's take a look at the stats for the team in general. In League 2 at the very least. We won't bother going through Carabao Cup and things like that. But so actually maybe we will. So I think Dave Williamson has got a handful of games. Not in the Carabao Cup. Actually, he might in the Carabao Cup. So 9 goals and 2 assists for Williamson. 7 and 5 for Rose. Continues to have an excellent season. 4 goals for Saint and for Charles Mann. 3 and 3 for Fry. 3 for Bird. Couple of goals for a handful of other players. Let's take a look at the Carabao Cup, because I feel like we have several goals for Williamson in the Cup. So he's got 1 in the Carabao Cup. And no, I think I'm just misremembering. And so finally, let's look at the calendar for January. So skipping ahead to 2025, we have got Gillingham, we've got Chester Field, we have got Grimsby, we've got Crewe Alexandra, and we've got Port Vale once more, as well as that FA Cup game against Burnley to get to. So that will be a really good test. So we'll certainly play that game in the next episode. We'll get to some transfers in the next episode as well. Who were we supposed to scout? Player of the season, certainly, I think, for Callum Broad. I think with Dave Williamson dropping off just a little bit in the last couple of episodes, I think that's Callum Broad's award to lose now. Jay Stansfield was one that we want to get scouted and added to the shortlist. There was also somebody else. Mason Burstow was the other one. So let's get him scouted and added to the shortlist ahead of January as well. Daniel Jebison was another player that was a good addition to the last Redmont Rangers series. Players in that kind of mold I would be very much interested in. A very pacey left back, Rob Nizzet. Let's get him scouted too. I'm certainly going to prioritize youth. We don't necessarily have to buy somebody, 22 or younger. But I would certainly prioritize youth. Will Ferry looks useful. A Dundee player, 25 years old, decent pace, but just looks to be good on the ball. And pace is actually not massively important for our left back. It's more important for our right back. But we play a false back on the left-hand side. So really, dribbling, passing are going to be more important than pace. And I think Will Ferry looks to be a decent option in the particular role that we have. Burton Albion left back, Dylan Williams looks decent as well. So we'll get him scouted too. Do we have any centre midfielders that are going to be worth adding? Matthew Dennis, we would have faced with MK Dons. Demir doesn't look great. Jonah Ayunga looks to be in the kind of Dave Williamson mould. Fairly big, powerful, pacey. Let's take a look at him. A little on the older side, though, at 27. And are there any good centre midfielders that would be worth taking a look at as well? Matty Virtue. I'm just going to scout and add. Oh, I can't scout him, but I can add him to the shortlist and we can scout him at a later date. It's just such a great name. Matty Virtue. Let's just take a look at him just for that reason, if no other. Jamie Ellis doesn't look terrible. Pace and physical are good, but the other attributes leave a lot to be desired. Tom Lowry, on the other hand, of Portsmouth, has an expiring contract in 6 months. With 90 to 99 agility, 85 to 95 balance, 78 to 88 acceleration. Not great stamina. And his sprint speed is a lot lower than his acceleration. But he looks like he could be really useful in that deep line playmaker role. So we will certainly add him to the shortlist and potentially try and poach him from Portsmouth heading into Season 2. But we will get to all those transfers in the next episode. We will also be getting to that game against Burnley in the FA Cup. And we will also be covering all of the fixtures in February as well. So that will do it for this one. I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you can make it for the next one. Again, it's going to be Friday, 7 p.m. Join the Discord if you haven't already. There's links to that in the description of my video. Check out the Crystal Palace career mode if you haven't already. Check out the sliders that we use in the video as well. But yeah, that'll do it for this one. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.